Ryan Thompson for Norfolk. He just creamed one to straightaway left here, and it got out of here in about 0.2 of a second. 1-0 ball game in that one.
Ryan Thompson's the guy that hit a home run off tonight's Red Wings starter, John O'Donohue. And O'Donohue's very first AAA game. It was his second AAA pitch, and Ryan Thompson thundered it out of here about 420 feet. It should be noted, though, that since then, John O'Donohue, at least until his last start against the Chiefs, had dominated this team. John O'Donohue for Rochester against Syracuse until he ran into the Chiefs this past July. Had worked 36 innings against the Chiefs, allowing only 3 runs. He had walked 5 and struck out 36. He just really killed him until the Syracuse Chiefs were able to turn the tables on July the 12th at Silver Stadium in Rochester. O'Donohue didn't get out of the second inning, and then 3 days later, he was in Albuquerque, New Mexico for the AAA All-Star game and was met with the exact same fate. He did not get out of the second inning. The American League got hit around pretty well by the National League in a game that Ryan Klesko ended up dominating. A very intriguing baseball game out there.
Yeah, and I believe Roy Smith for Buffalo picked up the win in that ball game, but those are some outstanding numbers, 36 strikeouts in 36 innings, and see what he's got going tonight.
We had that storyline all set for that guy, John O'Donohue, the guy that kills the Chiefs until they turned around and killed him last time. And O'Donohue with a storyline tonight that will read something like, I've got to turn it around against the Syracuse Chiefs. And it's Tim Brown on the mound for the Syracuse team tonight. He's got a perfect game to his credit this year. And we'll tell you more about him in a moment or so. First, here's our national anthem. We are ready for baseball tonight here at Big Mac in Syracuse. And here's your starting lineup for the Rochester Red Wings tonight. Damon Buford, who's seen some time in Baltimore this year, is leading off. Then a couple of veterans, Tommy Henzo and Randy Ruddy. Mark Leonard, the former San Francisco Giant after that. Cheetah Martinez, Mark Smith, Paul Carey. Then Gregg Zaun, and finally the super prospect Manny Alexander playing shortstop.
Had good speed at the top of that lineup with Buford and Henzo.
There is your Syracuse Chiefs defense, and Jose Monzon, the catcher, is the one name that really stands out, Duke. He's got a cannon for an arm.
Yeah, he's throwing out 50% of the runners trying to run on him in this year. That's unbelievable percentage.
Tim Brown, the guy in the middle of the screen there, will be doing the pitching starting out for the Chiefs tonight. And Tim Brown owns one of 3 no-hitters in this league this year, and his was a perfect game, a 7-inning perfect game, the second perfect game in the history of this Chiefs franchise. You have to go back to 1967 to find the other one. Stan Bonson got it done. And Tim Brown, it's really amazing to think about it. He came into that game June the 1st, a second game of a doubleheader against Toledo. He had a 1-5 record, a 5.37 ERA. You figured, boy, if we can just get 5 innings out of this guy, terrific. All of a sudden, he throws a perfect game.
Yeah, that's obviously the high point in a rather lackluster season thus far at 4-12. But obviously, if your guy throws a perfect game, he is capable of having, a big night. And you got to have good stuff to have a perfect game. And hopefully, that 4-12 record isn't an indication of, what kind of stuff he really has. He's got to tonight. He's got to keep these guys off stride, keep the top 2 guys off bases, because Buford, Henzo, when they get on, they can pick them up and lay them down.
Saw Bob Didier right there, still looking at him, working over the gum, and Didier taking over for Nick Leyva, who's been called up in never really hear much about managers getting called up from AAA, but he's a coach now for the Toronto Blue Jays. Rich Hacker was hurt in an automobile accident, and Leyva got called up to take his place, so Bob Didier takes over here. Damon Buford up there, and 1 ball, no strikes account as we get going tonight on a perfect evening here at MacArthur Stadium. Damon Buford is hit safely in 21 of his last 22 games. Skies this one towards the left side, and an opportunity for Eddie Zosky. And the shortstop has it for the first out. Eddie Zosky, a guy that you really feel for right now, a first-round pick by the Blue Jays a couple of years ago, and was supposed to do all kinds of wonderful things. He was on line to be the starting shortstop this year in Toronto if he were to win the battle against Dick Schofield. Remember that way back when? It was supposed to be Zosky or Schofield at shortstop for the Blue Jays this year. Zosky got injured. Schofield got injured. All of a sudden, they reacquire Tony Fernandez, and here's Henzo taking a strike.
Well, sometimes, you know, these organizations put these can't miss labels on these guys, and they put a lot of pressure on them. Look at Jeffries for the Mets. He couldn't do anything there. All of a sudden, he goes to Kansas City, he struggles, and he's really flourishing right now in St. Louis.
No balls, 2 strikes to Tommy Henzo. He had that label attached to him for a little while when he was coming up through the ranks of the Cleveland Indians. He got to the major leagues from A-ball in 1987.
Yeah, well, that, you know, that's good for him, but, you know, in the short term, but in the long run, you know, you get rushed like that, and sometimes, you know, it can do you more harm than good. And it really hasn't worked out where he's been a real, you know, solid major league player. Maybe a little bit more seasoned, and he might have been able to do that.
This one towards the right field side and just foul. Tommy Henzo missing a double by maybe a foot or so. Tommy Henzo is leading this Rochester Red Wings team in RBI. He's got 60 of those. Yes, he is a second baseman. He bats either number 9 or number 2 in the order. It's remarkable that he's leading the team with those 60 RBI.
Yeah, I was looking over the stat sheet. That's impressive for a number 2 hitter in your lineup. But, you know, he doesn't have much power, only 4 home runs this season, but to pick up 60, that means he's doing something right. He's coming through in the clutch.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count to Tommy Henzo, just underway tonight from Syracuse. And 3 balls, 2 strikes now from Tim Brown to Tommy Henzo. Tim Brown, a guy that off and on struggles with the control. He did not have the control working last time out. Another chance for Eddie Zosky. And 2 down here in the first inning. Tim Brown last time out was probably hit as hard as he's been hit in the last few weeks. He walked 5 and allowed 8 hits in 7 innings, and the Richmond Braves beat him up, but Richmond has been doing that to a lot of teams this year. They've got a lot of talent.
Yeah, they got some horses over there.
Randy Reddy hitting .290. Nice addition to this Rochester team, and Reddy takes a strike on the outside edge. Reddy was the last cut by the Kansas City Royals out of spring training this year. He was beaten out by Rico Rossi. Randy Reddy, a veteran that certainly can help a major league team right now, you'd think. A lot of people very surprised to see Reddy still in a AAA uniform.
Well, Rico Rossi's a pretty good utility infielder. He can play a lot of positions where Reddy basically would probably be, you know, your third baseman. Reddy with obviously more power than Rossi. Rossi's got a cannon, though, for an arm. He really does. I'll tell you what, Syracuse, which he wasn't anywhere around here, he's 14 for 30 on the year. That's a .467 clip against Syracuse ball club.
He had a 2 home run game here at MacArthur Stadium earlier this year. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count to double twos Randy Reddy. Deuce is wild here. You see 5 of them on your screen right now. And a blast by Reddy, but going back on it Soho. This will stay in the yard, and the Wings are down in order here in the first inning. No runs, hits or errors, nobody left. And the Chiefs coming to the plate tonight. No score on Empire Sports Network.
Fans tonight, Ponderosa winning inning will be inning number 3. If the Chiefs player...
The screwball.
Batter up.
The foul ball. The pop fly. Catch all the action of Baseball 93 from the first pitch to the final out. Get the whole story behind Baseball 93. Saturday on CNN.
On the next edition of Reporters Roundtable, mayoral candidate, money, and the media.
For at least making it interesting, because up until this point, there have been no issues of substance.
Organized crime involved at any juncture of this?
That in the television medium, you punch around a button. Look, here's an interesting looking thing, and we'll sit and watch this.
I'm Rochelle Casella. Join me Tuesday evenings at 8 and Thursday evenings at 10:30 for Reporters Roundtable, only on Cable 13.
Here come the Chiefs in the bottom of the first inning. They'll send up Soho, Zosky, and Perez against the Wings left-hander John O'Donohue. And it's Soho, Zosky, Perez, Martinez, Quinlan, Jan. Then the two M's, Montalvo and Monzon, followed by Sean Scott. Your complete Syracuse Chiefs lineup. And your defense is a good one around the infield for Rochester, anchored up the middle by Manny Alexander and Tommy Hinzo. They become a very slick double play combination. And Alexander can really turn that double play with the best of them. He's also got the best arm in the International League.
Well, he's one of the bright prospects on this Rochester ball club, and they're talking maybe someday the heir apparent to Ripken, maybe move Ripken over to third base and let him take over.
We talked about Alexander. Here you see O'Donohue. Those two guys were supposed to be packaged with tonight's center fielder Damon Buford to get out to San Diego for Fred McGriff. And the Padres didn't want that deal. They wanted the one, of course, that involved Melvin Nieves and Donnie Elliott. Padres making the deal with the Braves instead. But boy, if you think about it, O'Donohue, Alexander, and Buford, that's not a bad offer for a guy like McGriff. It's certainly a trade. What's the old saying? It's a biscuit for a bag of flour. You get a lot of the ingredients for something special for an established commodity, and that is what the Padres ended up doing. They just decided to go a different route. They went for the three Braves prospects instead of the three O's prospects.
Well, you know, plus I think Segui has a little bit to do with that. He's playing so well for Baltimore that they might have had second thoughts about making that deal.
Luis Soho had a home run yesterday. Syracuse won that game 6-5, and a strike in from O'Donohue. Soho spent 19 games up in Toronto this year, hit a .170. He's played 20 games here in Syracuse. He's hit a .171.
It's consistent anyway.
Very much so.
That's a great bunt.
Tough play for Reddy. Crosses body throw, and a great one.
That's a beautiful play. Randy Reddy barehands it, almost with an underhand flip to first base to get Soho. I didn't think there was any chance in the world he'd get him.
It's kind of a thick infield grass here in Syracuse as well. That helped to slow down the baseball, and Reddy had to field and fire in one motion. You'll see it coming up again here. Soho places it perfectly up near third, you would think.
That's just a great bunt. Here comes Reddy. Look at that, a barehanded pickup. Tough throw, just in time. Good call by first base umpire Bob Bengo Long.
Zosky taking his strike here. Bob Long is the senior statesman on the umpiring crews here in the International League, and probably about the best there is. Zosky with a foul ball to the right, and it's now 0-2.
That's like almost been like a tale of two seasons for O'Donohue. He's looking for only a second win in his last 8 appearances, and he started the season out 6-1. So it's almost like a split screen here.
He's had a couple of outings where he just can't get that curveball over consistently, and that is the bread and butter pitch for John. Chance for Reddy again. Nice pick again, and 2 out in the inning. One of those in-between hops for Randy Reddy, and a veteran able to stick with it to go ahead and get Eddie Zosky. It'll be Robert Perez coming to the plate. Here you see Reddy playing that so well, just with a vacuum over there.
Yeah, you got the in-between hop almost. He stayed down long enough, made a good strong throw across the diamond. O'Donohue would be satisfied to get that all day long. Ground balls to this infield. Vacuum cleaners.
Now it's Perez. He's had a nice rookie AAA season here. O'Donohue in with it too low.
Yeah, he really has, leading the ball club and hitting 290. Showing a little power with 8 home runs. 11 stolen bases. Pretty solid season for a AAA rookie.
He loves wearing those socks up high too, doesn't he? That has become the fashion in and around baseball these days. Jim Thome of Charlotte in this league is doing that as well, and with fantastic results. The guy's almost got himself a triple crown.
Gary Cooper for Buffalo does that once in a while. I guess it just depends how he feels that day, you know. he'll go up and down like maybe with the weather. You know, when he's hot, he'll wear him one way, and if he cools off a little bit, he'll make a change.
O'Donohue ahead in the count here on Robert Perez. And this one will fall for a base hit. That is the first hit of the night, the first base runner we've seen in this one. The batter becomes Domingo Martinez. As we take a look at Perez and the extension on that swing against John O'Donohue.
Yeah, just a little bit out in front. It looked like a pretty good straight change there. He stayed with it just long enough to dump it into center field and pick up this ball game's first hit.
The first baseman, Domingo Martinez.
Well, this guy's scary up there. Isn't he? Look at it, 6'2", 215.
That looks like an apartment building.
Boy, oh boy.
And he can hit the ball a ways. We saw him just a couple days ago take one off the bottom of that big blue wall in center field. It was a 434-foot single because of some sloppy base running out there in front of him. It involved the guy at first base right now, Robert Perez. Incredible. You hit the ball to the center field wall at this facility. You figure you've got at least 3 bases. This one came in. It looked like it hit him. It did hit him. And Martinez will be awarded first base. That's the second time that he's been hit in this series. Yesterday, he got it on the elbow, and like this one came down and hit him low in the right leg.
Yeah, I don't know, it looked like a hard breaking ball. He just ran right down on his foot there. He had no chance in the world of getting away out of the way of this pitch. Yeah, right on the
foot.
Step. Yeah, ouch. That hurts.
So varying appendages have been hit by Domingo Martinez in this series, but this will bring Tom Quinlan to the plate with 2 men on. We'll see if Martinez will be okay to run here. Domingo showing off his new haircut. Now he's looking down and studying that foot.
Oh, that's smart.
Trainer Chopper McInerney out there to have a look as well. That's the second set of feet that you see in there. There's that new do for Domingo. Not bad. I give it an 8.
Got some serious goal too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Tom Quinlan awaits to come up and bat next, and Martinez limping, but looks like he's going to try to stay in there.
Yeah, he'll hang in there.
It's only the 3rd hit batsman of the year for that guy, John O'Donohue. O'Donohue does rely on the control of the breaking ball. He's a guy that at one point was leading this league in strikeouts, but as he started to see teams the 2nd and 3rd times around, a lot of the folks around the league began to catch up with the curveball a little bit, and the strikeout totals have really diminished for John O'Donohue over the last 5 weeks.
121 innings pitched, 103 strikeouts. That's still a pretty good ratio right there.
Tom Quinlan, the former hockey player, native of Minnesota, and was a draft pick of the Calgary Flames. But he decided to pursue a career in baseball instead. He's sprouted as a power hitter for the Chiefs. He's got 12 home runs this year. That goes along with 43 RBI. 2 on, 2 out for him. It's a scoreless game, first inning. That right there is a problem for Mr. Quinlan. He has struck out 125 times. Yeah, that is, that's a lot.
That is a lot for anybody in any league.
More than 1 every 3 at bats is the ratio right now.
Well, here's a guy, he just gives you 100%. You put his name and, come to the ballpark, you just put his name down on the lineup every day. He's played in every ball game, and he'll give you a good effort every time out.
6-4 is how you score that one, and O'Donohue does get out of the inning with 3 ground balls. No runs and 1 hit in the inning. Actually 2 hit if you include Domingo Martinez in the foot. 2 left, and at the end of 1, no score.
Wegmans and Cable 13 have a cool answer to hot Chiefs baseball. During games on Cable 13, one player will win Wegmans WPOP Pop of the Game. Wegmans will then donate $100 to the Red Cross in that player's name. For our viewers, we'll draw a winning entry for 5 cases of WPOP. Send in a postcard with this info. Watch the Chiefs on Cable 13. Stay cool with the taste of WPOP. It's dynamite.
Get ready for game time. The Mets are on WWOR EMI service. If you're a transplanted New Yorker or a baseball believer, a loyal Mets fan or a big little leaguer, you won't want to miss a pitch of the New York Mets on WWOR EMI service. At home and on the road, your team plays here. The New York Mets on WWOR EMI service. What to watch when you love the game.
Zippo, zippo as we get to the second inning. The Wings and the Chiefs tonight here on a gorgeous Sunday evening in Central New York. And folks, the excitement of AAA baseball is right here on Empire Sports Network. This summer you'll find the most complete coverage of your hometown heroes, featuring the Chiefs, the Buffalo Bisons, and the Rochester Red Wings. Coming up August 23rd, the Bisons take on Omaha at 7 o'clock. See it live right here on the home of hometown heroes, Empire Sports Network. Tonight, the Thruway rivals, Rochester and Syracuse. And we've talked about it a little bit off the air, Duke, but it would be nice if Buffalo could somehow be involved again and make this really a three-point stop along the Thruway to get the Chiefs and the Red Wings and the Bisons all hooking up again.
Well, Buffalo would love to be, having that kind of an opportunity. I know Mike Bellani would be very interested in, hooking up with little Thruway Series somehow. And it's really too bad that the fans, whether it be at Rochester or Syracuse or Buffalo, can't see the teams like, for example, Rochester can't see the teams from the American Association, and people in Buffalo can't see the teams from the International League. You get to see all the prospects then, as they say, see the stars of tomorrow today, and that's what the fans really want to see. Unfortunately, sometimes financially it's not feasible.
2 balls, 2 strikes to count on Leonard.
In some operations, obviously in Buffalo they draw well, and they'd love to have the opportunity to do that, but some of the little smaller markets can't afford to do that.
That's Soho with the play out there for the first out of the second inning, and here comes a veteran of that AAA alliance of days gone by, Chito Martinez. He was an Omaha Royal and was part of a championship team in 1990. His Royals beat the Rochester Red Wings.
Designated hitter Chito Martinez.
Yeah, Martinez spent the whole season last year in the big leagues and didn't do that bad a job. And all of a sudden, Segui has a great spring, and see you later.
Yeah, he really has had a tough go of it here in 1993. It's been a very strange season. He started out in Baltimore. He went 0 for 15. They sent him down to Double-A just to get some more at-bats, and while he was there, he hurt his leg. And a hard chopper here, Zosky. No problem. And quickly 2 out in the inning. Well, for Chito Martinez, he ended up missing 6 weeks because of that leg injury. He comes back, and because it's just like spring training all over again, he struggles again, and actually began this season 2 for 40. Then after that, he went 26 for 60. And since then, he's gone 1 for 28.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's just he's on a serious roller coaster right here, and it's not one of those little ones either. He's on the giant roller coaster, up and down. And sometimes that's the way it goes.
Here's another guy on that ride, Mark Smith. And Smitty had a 20-game hitting streak earlier this year. He also had an 11-game streak, but now he's in one of those ruts where he's seen his batting average fall all the way beneath the 300 mark for the first time since early May.
Yeah, it's only 6 for his last 44. When you're on that roller coaster ride, you'd like to stay on that high part as long as you possibly can.
It's been a free fall, unfortunately, for Mark Smith. He did manage to hit a tremendous home run yesterday. 2-run shot that brought Rochester back to within a run. Mark Smith, the #1 pick of the Orioles just 2 years ago. #9 pick in the nation out of USC. Facing Tim Brown tonight for the very first time. Scoreless game here in the second inning. Smith laying off, the count 2-2. Tim Brown leads this league in losses, 12 of them. Does have 4 wins and 1 of them a perfect game.
Well, it sounds funny. A lot of times you get 12 losses, you got to be a pretty good pitcher to get 12 losses because they still keep throwing you out there, so you can't be that bad.
Mark Smith held to a single on that shot down towards left. Luis Sojo getting it quickly towards the stripe to pick it up.
First baseman.
And perhaps that home run by Smith yesterday has broken him out of that rut. Here's the cut by Mark Smith. Gets around well on a breaking ball from Tim Brown.
Yeah, that was a nice swing right there. He stayed back. He had good arm extension on it. And probably the key to that at bat right there, Josh, was the 2-2 pitch he stayed, or the 1-2 pitch he stayed off that breaking ball down and away. If you can lay off that pitch, you're seeing the ball pretty well. And once you start seeing the ball well, the rest will come around and you'll get yourself going again.
Rochester first baseman Paul Carey with the opportunity now. Carey, another guy that's just starting to emerge from a slump. Carey had a couple of hits in the game yesterday. Both of them off a lefty, Paul Spoljaric, and that's a very encouraging sign for Carey, a guy that struggled hitting lefties all season. He did go around, says home plate umpire Nowert, and the count 1-1 on Carey.
Took a little something off there, had him out in front, just couldn't quite keep the bat back.
Tim Brown out of Brandon, Florida, just outside of Tampa. And now hops ahead of Carey, 1-2. Paul Carey, a guy out of Stanford University. Led them to a national championship in his freshman year. He had a thrilling home run to get him into the title game. He hit it off of a guy named Ben McDonald. And of course, Carey and McDonald now are teammates, or at least they're in the same organization. Carey was with the Orioles earlier this year. Carey, a Boston native. He had his first 2 Major League RBI where else but Fenway Park.
Well, that'd be a thrill.
Carey hanging in this at bat. Yeah, Carey grew up maybe 20-25 minutes from Fenway. Said he went to 20-25 games a year. His first opportunity to actually play at Fenway. He goes 3 for 4 with a game-winning hit. And Carey couldn't get Tim Brown. Brown with his first strikeout of the night, and the Wings cannot score here in the second inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. Bottom of the second coming here at Big Mac tonight. Rochester nothing and Syracuse nothing on Empire Sports Network.
We're gonna cheer, cheer, cheer for the Chiefs. We're gonna swing for the seats, 'cause they play real pretty in the old South City. We're gonna rock them down to the cleats. We're gonna cheer for the Chiefs.
Hey, hey, summer in Syracuse means Chiefs baseball. Great family fun at affordable price for the whole family. Come on out to Big Mac and
cheer for the Chiefs.
At Syracuse Ladder and Scaffolding, there's more to us than just our name. We provide a wide range of products and services to fulfill all your contracting needs. We offer an extensive inventory of parts and supplies, plus a complete line of construction equipment, along with job site delivery and repairs. For service that's a step above the rest, stop by our showroom or call for more information. Syracuse Ladder and Scaffolding, all your contracting needs from a single source.
Welcome back to MacArthur Stadium, everybody. Josh Lewin with Duke McGuire. Thanks for making the Wings and Chiefs a part of your night tonight, whether you're watching us in Syracuse or Buffalo or Rochester or points in between. And on the Empire Sports Network, we've got it all. This summer, the place to turn for baseball is right here. From AAA to the major leagues, featuring the Bisons and their parent club, the Pittsburgh Pirates. You've got the Rochester Red Wings and the Syracuse Chiefs. So if it's baseball you want, we've got it this summer right here on Empire Sports Network. This one moving to the bottom of the second inning. And Tim Brown trying to stay cool here on a nice night. Sun beating down on everybody. Tim Brown got through the second inning by striking out Paul Carey. And now it's Julian Yan coming to the plate. You have to kind of take a breath to say this guy's name, otherwise you sound like a moron. Julian Yan. And in a part-time role has put up some decent numbers. This guy swung the bat well last year at Double-A for Knoxville. They were the Knoxville Blue Jays last year. This year they're the Knoxville Smokies. And ball one from John O'Donohue. That has become quite the rage in baseball, going with the marketable names. Certainly the Knoxville Smokies, a little bit more marketable than the Knoxville Jays. You've got the Wilmington Blue Rocks this year. You've got the Hickory Crawdads. Not to mention the old Toledo Mud Hens, of course. In the air to right center. And Mark Smith and Damon Buford, the former teammates at USC together. Buford takes it. Apparently tells Smith a joke in the process. Smitty with a little laugh out there with Damon Buford.
Well, they should have their communication down, playing in college, now playing together professional baseball.
It is fun seeing those guys play, and that's the thing about a lot of the guys on the field here tonight, and it's one thing that's very special about AAA baseball. You see these guys having fun, and this is a level of baseball closest, of course, to the major leagues, and you would assume that all the guys might be just like what you read about in the major leagues, but there are not a lot of Barry Bonds or not a lot of Bobby Bonillas at this level.
Well, you should be having fun no matter what level you're playing baseball. Baseball is a game, and it's a great game, and hey, if you don't have fun, don't play it. I mean, that's bottom line is, I mean, if you're just out here hanging around to pick up a paycheck, especially when you're in the minor leagues, you might as well, you know, quit and find yourself a 9 to 5 or someplace.
With Rob Montalvo taken care of, it'll be Jose Monzon coming to the plate. And this guy, though he really hasn't done too much at the plate, has done a lot of things well defensively. There's Montalvo's pop-up. Mile up into the air for Randy Reddy, and Reddy's been a busy guy in this game tonight.
Yeah, trying to stack that lineup with right-handed batters against the big 6'6" left-hander.
That's exactly what Bob Didier has accomplished. In fact, everybody that'll come up tonight will bat right-handed. The guy on deck is a switch hitter. Hanging in the air and foul ground. Mark Smith. Oh, he just about got it, and in fact, might have come up a little strong on that ball. What an effort by Mark Smith, but as it turned out, he didn't need to lay out completely as he did.
Great hustle right there by Mark Smith. He goes a long way for this ball, and of course with a right-handed batter, hits the ball off the end of the bat, the ball's going to be tailing away from him. Here comes it. Almost looked like his leg just at the last minute there. He almost overextended, and the ball hit off the heel of his glove, but it was great hustle.
As he went horizontal, you could see him trying to pull the hand back in a little bit, the left glove hand, to try to compensate for the fact that he just had a little bit too much. He was coming in too hot.
Yeah, I got it in between steps there, and as you mentioned, he tried to pull that glove back, but it hit off the heel. But that's just great effort right there. Bobby Mystic's got to be happy to see that.
Ball and 2 strikes now, the count to Jose Monzon.
It's nice to be in a pennant race at this time of the season. You know, sometimes, unfortunately, teams like Syracuse here, you know, they've been mired in the basement for all of the season, and there's not much left to play for other than personal pride. These guys at Rochester, you know, they check the scoreboard every day and every night and see how they made out, and they're in a pennant race. You got to love that.
So a game that means a lot to Rochester tonight, and through 2, no score.
Is life uneventful? Are you bored, stiff? Do you feel like you're living in the 17th century? Check out Weekender on Cable 13. Host Lorraine Rath gives some great tips on things to do and see around Central New York. So don't be bored on the weekends. Check out Weekender every Monday at 7 p.m. and Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. only on Cable 13.
To bring you the sweetest, ripest, freshest produce possible, sometimes Wegmans goes around the world. At other times, it's just around the corner, like down the road to the Vercruci farm.
The Vercruci family's been working with Wegmans for about 42 years. They've helped the whole family grow, and they've helped me put the kids through college. It's been a great relationship.
Wegmans award-winning produce, homegrown on local farms like the Vercrucis. This is what giving you our best really means.
All the way to the 3rd now, and still scoreless between the Wings and the Chiefs tonight here at MacArthur Stadium. And on Empire Sports Network coming up, folks, Greg Jeffries, Todd Zeal, and the streaking St. Louis Cardinals They're in the Steel City tomorrow night for a battle with the Pirates. The Cardinals are trying to catch the Phillies in the NL East, while the Pirates are looking at some of their young talent. The action starts at 7:30 on your home for Pirates baseball, the Empire Sports Network. That cotton candy looked pretty good. See if we can get that guy up here. I've never seen a vendor up this far. Nice crowd turning out here tonight. The Chiefs still drawing very well. They've really done some magnificent things with their operation here lately, and it's a lot of fun to come to this ballpark all of a sudden. Even with the team not necessarily playing winning baseball, the fans know they'll have a great time when they come out. This is Gregg Zaun at the plate for Rochester, Rick Dempsey's nephew, another catcher. And Zaun takes here for a ball.
Hope he's wrapped a little tighter than Rick Dempsey. That guy was loose as a goose.
Another chance for Zosky. After a stumble, he takes care of the Z-Man, Gregg Zaun. We can certainly see the similarities between Zaun and Dempsey if you hang around Mr. Zaun long enough. He's a young kid and still coming into his own offensively. Defensively, he's very, very good. Caught here by Zosky.
Yeah, he just topped that one a little bit. Pretty good play by Zosky going to his left. Doesn't look too rusty with the glove.
Here's the other shortstop, Manny Alexander. What a fine prospect he is for the Orioles. Alexander's shown a little bit of pop this year, too. He's got a couple home runs in his last 3 ball games. He had one yesterday against the lefty Paul Spoljaric. Long line of shortstops from San Pedro de Macorís, Dominican Republic, and that line goes right through the backyard of Manny Alexander. Tags this one, but right to Quinlan. Quinlan made a nice leaping catch in the ball game yesterday, and this one really didn't have to get him up too far in the air, but the line drive snared by Quinlan for the second out.
Nothing you can do about that. He hit the ball right on the button, but Quinlan standing right there in his tracks makes the play. I guess that's why if you hit 300, you're doing pretty darn good. You fail 7 times out of 10, and you're still doing a great job because you got those 8 guys behind you out there when you're on the mound. You don't have to strike out everybody. Throw the ball over the plate. Somebody else help you out a little bit.
Strike one to Damon Buford. Damon 0 for 1 in this one. What a splash he made going up to the Orioles. Right at the end of April, beginning of May.
Yeah, first week in the big leagues, hit .421. That's not too shabby, huh?
Went on national TV. Yeah, he was the player of the game in an early season showdown between the O's and the Blue Jays. 1 ball, 2 strikes account to Damon. At the time that Damon Buford went up, a lot of the Orioles fans were hollering for the other wunderkind in center field, Jeffrey Hammonds. And as it turned out, the story had a happy ending. Both Buford and Hammonds got their chances, and it's Hammonds that is stuck for now.
Yeah, he's making the most of it, too, isn't he? Doing a good job up there. That's
Orioles,
another case,
yeah.
You don't want to rush a guy, you know. He hadn't had that much time, and just let the guy play every day and in AAA and improve. And boy, I'll tell you what, he's doing a pretty good job for Baltimore right now.
The O's hanging in the race because of a lot of the Rochester alumni. You've got today Mark Parent hitting a big 3-run home run to get them back in a ball game with Cleveland. Jack Voigt's gone up there, done a nice job. And the count full here to Damon Buford. Of course, it's been a couple left-handers for the Orioles that have really carried them. The 2 guys from the scrap heap, Fernando Valenzuela and Jamie Moyer.
It's unbelievable what Valenzuela's done since early in the season. He's really turned it around. That ball's crushed, but it's hooking foul.
Damon Buford, as a leadoff hitter, fancies himself a guy with some pop, and we see him quite often pulling the ball, and he certainly did right there. Just got a little bit too far in front of it that time, and he yanked it out of here foul.
Well, Brown tried to get a fastball in his hands, and he couldn't that time. He didn't get it in enough, and Buford really turned on it and drilled it right out of here, but just fouled on the left field line. There's a good breaking ball.
So Buford, after narrowly missing a home run, looks at strike 3, and Tim Brown's sailing right along. And we sail on to the bottom of the 3rd here in Syracuse tonight. It's the Chiefs nothing and the Red Wings nothing on Empire Sports Network.
It's a business thing.
a results thing.
Speed thing. A team thing.
A race walking thing.
A social thing.
It's Central New York Running, presented by Dick's Clothing and Sporting Goods, Reebok, and Incredimeal. Tuesdays at 8:30 and Fridays at 7, all season long on Cable 13.
Running's great for the whole community.
Hello, I'm Robert Rogers. I'm the new owner of Camden Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Eagle.
Like you, I was a car consumer just a few short months ago, so I understand the incentive of driving a few miles to save money. But why spend an hour to car shop in the north? Just invest 40 minutes and come to Camden for great deals you can trust. For example, a 1993 Dodge Intrepid, $16,591.
We don't want to be the biggest, just the best.
There is Scooch doing the safety dance up on top of the dugout here. I hope he is safe doing that. You don't want to have a mascot lawsuit on your hands. That can, of course, be very ugly.
That's some pretty big boats on top of that dugout.
There's John O'Donohue, the man that'll face the 9-1-2 hitters in the Syracuse order here in the bottom of the third. John O'Donohue, a guy that a lot of people really thought would get snatched up in the expansion draft this past offseason. But if you are familiar with O'Donohue's history, you'll know that this is a guy that really never has been able to get drafted in anything. He was not taken out of college. He was not taken out of high school before that. John O'Donohue had to get a tryout arranged in Baltimore. His dad, John O'Donohue Sr., helped out with that. John O'Donohue threw in a semi-pro game across the state line in Delaware, and a couple of Orioles scouts made the trip to see him. They were impressed enough that they all went back to the O'Donohue home back in Elkton, Maryland. They signed contracts over iced teas that afternoon.
All he does is win ball games. You know, he wins 12 games up the ladder last year, and you know, you see guys throw on the side, they don't look impressive, you know, but put them out on the mound, some guys are just smart. They know how to pitch. I mean, you got to give a guy some credit for that.
Alexander can't get it, and it's a base hit for Sean Scott. A 183 hitter that's been more like an 831 hitter against Rochester over the years. And that guy, Sean Scott, always seems to come up with a big hit to get Syracuse going against Rochester. And this is what we call a seeing eye base hit. Both guys diving on the left side of the infield, but the ball just scooting on through and a left.
Yeah, Reddy gives it a good effort. Can't quite come up with it. Manny Alexander, he can't backhand it, and Scott's got himself a leadoff base hit. But getting back to that other point, you know, you put the radar gun on a lot of guys, and it doesn't give you much. You know, it doesn't measure your heart, it doesn't measure the savvy you got out of the mound, and that's, you know, that's a big part of the ball game too. I mean, you can find guys that can throw 93 miles an hour, and it can't get guys out. So what good is that?
John O'Donohue, when he's on, keeps the ball down and away. He'll get a lot of ground ball outs, and certainly the double play is always the best friend of O'Donohue, and we're looking to get one of those right here. Scoreless game in the third.
No, especially if you're a left-handed pitcher. I mean, there's guys for Tommy John. Now, if you put a radar gun on that guy, what? They'd laugh. Come on. But I mean, you're a left-handed pitcher. You got movement on the ball. You get the ground ball. That's why they call it pitching and not throwing. Now, here's a guy who's 6'6", and he might fill out. He's still a young guy. He might. A lot of times, left-handed pitchers develop a little bit later, and you know what the heck? By the time he's 27, 28, he might go 210, 220, and might pick up a couple miles per hour on that velocity. Then, you know, then he'll have the complete package.
Battling here against Luis Soho.
A couple of guys you just mentioned, Jamie Moyer and Fernando. Those guys, they're not going to break anybody's, you know, radar guns. That's for sure.
And knowing how to pitch so much of it, and John O'Donohue, a very good, very willing student as well. That also is important. A guy that is willing to be putty in the hands of a pitching coach. And a blast by Soho. It'll be Leonard chasing at the wall. Sean Scott will get to third, and going to second base on the play is Luis Soho. Nobody out in the inning, and the Chiefs have a threat going.
Well, Soho was sitting on that one. He drills it one hop off the wall. Mark Leonard makes a nice play just to get the ball back in the diamond. And hold Scott at third. Here's it is. He's right on it. He's got the arms fully extended, pulls it in the left field corner. Now watch. Watch Leonard out here. One hop off the wall. Bare hands it and fires it in. Pretty good job out there by Mark Leonard. Now we got the middle lineup coming up 2, 3, 4 with runners on second, third, nobody out.
And as you can see, the infield hangs back for Rochester. Fly ball of any depth or ground ball to second base gets Sean Scott in. But O'Donohue hops ahead in the count. You can see that the dugouts here are like foxholes at this facility. You got to be wide awake down there.
And you got to watch your head coming out of those babies too.
Well, you might. I don't. I will never have that problem, sadly, but you take a look in at the Red Wings in their dugout.
Buford playing a shallow center field. On Zosky.
O'Donohue hops ahead 0-2. On deck, Robert Perez and then Domingo Martinez.
He might have got away with one right there as a breaking ball looked like he left it up. That might have been a little bit out of the strike zone, Zosky. That's a pretty good pitch to hammer on, though, that high-hanging breaking ball. He got away with one there. Immediately after that, O'Donohue wanted a different ball. That one didn't feel too good coming off his fingers on that one.
Zosky here on the 20-day rehab assignment. Trying to work through that arm injury and get up to Toronto again.
Yeah, he just got back up here. He was down in Hagerstown.
Just foul here. Yeah, that's a facility where the Orioles prospects have gotten some work in. That was Double-A for the Orioles the last few years, and now it's a Single-A team for Toronto.
Yeah, he only played 5 games down there. He was only 2 for 20. He's hit safely in 4 or 5 since he's come up here, but he's, you can see he's a little rusty at the plate. When you miss that high-hanging breaking ball, you know you're not at the top of your game.
Didn't miss by much, but it's still Zosky hanging in there, trying to give the Chiefs the early lead. Syracuse in tonight at 46-68, but they've been playing some good ball under Bob Didier.
Bob Didier, he's kind of a hard-nosed guy. You're not going to go away with mental mistakes with him.
Big strikeout for John O'Donohue. That is his second of the night. That big break and curve has been the best friend of John O'Donohue ever since he's been a pro. And see Zosky take the cut. Like a golf swing there.
Well, that's his out pitch right there, the curveball. And there was a good one right there. It broke down below the knees. And Zosky couldn't reach it. Big strikeout right there.
The infield stays back again for Rochester. Robert Perez singled sharply in the first inning. And again, O'Donohue able to get ahead. He stays away from Perez. That's not a bad idea. You take a look at the infield there with Alexander hanging back at short.
Yeah, Reddy playing deep at third. If he dropped one down, he could coast into first.
Randy Reddy will come home with the ball, and they will hang up Sean Scott. It's up to Zaun to tag the man out. He does it. Nicely done by the veteran Randy Reddy. And the Syracuse Chiefs that have had problems with their base running over the last couple nights, they just ran themselves into an out right there. Scott caught off at third base, and that's a tough thing. Randy Reddy has to make the play cleanly. He has to throw home accurately. He did both those things, and that foils the Chiefs.
Oh, that's an excellent play right there by Randy Reddy. A lot of times in this situation, they'll just concede a run. He'll just take the out at first base. That ball was hit fairly sharply. He realized he had to play at the plate, even against the speedy Sean Scott. Made a good throw home. They ran him back. Good efficient rundown play right there for Rochester. And all of a sudden now the second, third, no out situation becomes first and second with 2 down. O'Donohue within 1 out of getting out of a big jam.
Syracuse going backwards here. From second and third to first and second. Big cut for Domingo Martinez, and Zaun a nice job to keep the ball in front of him. John O'Donohue out of LSU, school that produced Ben McDonald and some other pretty talented pitchers.
It's tough to imagine a guy comes out of a big program like that can't even get drafted. I mean, team in I think it's Bradley this year had 5 pitchers drafted off their staff.
Go back to early 1980s, I believe in 1980, 26 of the 27 players on Arizona State's team were drafted. Not necessarily in that year, but within the next couple of years. That's amazing.
It certainly is.
Strike 2 dealt from O'Donohue, and there are a lot of theories about why it might have been so tough for John O'Donohue to get drafted, but probably the most salient argument is that he was just plain overshadowed. I mean, Ben McDonald was down there, Chad O.J., a couple of hard throwers, and John O'Donohue with that little curveball just kind of got swept under the rug.
Well, I can remember 1973, I was playing out of the Midwest League, and the College Player of the Year, Roger Schmuck, came out of Arizona State. Within about a month and a half, they tried to turn him into a pitcher. He was overmatched by so much.
This will get a run home for Syracuse. Domingo Martinez now has an 11-game hitting streak. And a ball that just somehow found its way into left field. Luis Sojo in with the night's first run.
Well, that's a clutch piece of hitting right there by Domingo Martinez. He's down in the count. And with 2 outs here, he finds the hole, drives in Luis Sojo, and Syracuse draws first blood. That's a big run right there for Syracuse. If they had runners on second and third with nobody out and not scored, they could have been totally demoralized in this ball game.
Still runners at first and second as Sojo takes a breather on the bench there. The pitch here to Quinlan is low for ball 1.
Luis Sojo is not exactly a speed merchant right now. I mean, he made a beautiful bunt his first time up, and he was thrown out by a good play by Reddy. I was watching him run there between third and home, and he's kind of struggling. He's still laboring a little bit running around those bases.
O'Donohue had kept the ball on the ground. Domingo Martinez rolled it, but again, it somehow snuck on into left field. And Domingo Martinez, the way he's swinging the bat right now, he's getting those breaks. The 11-game hitting streak, and his batting average creeping up towards 260.
He really is. I mean, you know, they got 3 hits this inning. They got that good sharp double, 1 hop off the wall by Sojo, but there was a couple seeing eye ground balls right there. So he's, you know, he's pitching his style. You know, he's getting the ground ball, and hey, sometimes it goes at somebody, sometimes it doesn't. Just a case right there of ball finding the hole. There's no defense for the walk. You got to throw the ball over the plate, and he's doing a good job at that. He's getting ahead. He's doing all right.
And here it's just a situation where if you're the Rochester Red Wings, you don't want to see O'Donohue get rattled. Yes, it's a tough break, but you got to just put that in the back of your mind and go ahead and take care of Quinlan. All of a sudden, it's 2-0 on him.
Right, yeah, he was getting ahead of most of the hitters. Right now, you know, they just scored off him. You know, he gave up a hit with 2 strikes and 2 outs. He might be a little rattled, and this is one guy right here you don't want to make a mistake to. He can make you pay for it in a hurry.
There's a good look at John O'Donohue. Big, tall, skinny kid. Got the haircut so short, it looks like a Q-tip, doesn't he?
Well, that's what I say. A couple years down the line, you know, if he can fill out a little bit, who knows?
2 balls, 2 strikes now on Quinlan. He's been a very good 2-out and even 2-strike hitter over the last few weeks. And Quinlan yesterday getting a 2-out triple to score a couple runs for the Chiefs, and then later getting a 2-out bloop single to get what ended up being the winning run.
They hit 333 on the year against Rochester, 15 for 45. So I'm sure the Syracuse fans would like to see him come up with one right here.
Runners are moving, and the ball fouled back. Not bad speed on the bases here, and Bob Didier figures, why not? Let's get these guys going.
Well, that's a little bit of a surprise with 2 outs, 2 strikes on the batter. You know, 2-2. I could see a 3-2, but obviously a 3-2 you go with with 2 down, but not that much advantage stealing third with 2 outs.
Did seem to catch the Wings by surprise, but as it turned out, Quinlan fouls the ball away. Chiefs in front 1-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd. And O'Donohue finishes off Quinlan. He had trailed in the count 2-0, but then he roars back to take care of Quinlan, who now has 126 times struck out this year. The Chiefs do have the lead, though, as we go to the fourth on the Empire Sports Network.
Wegmans and Cable 13 have a cool answer to hot Chiefs baseball. During games on Cable 13, one player will win Wegmans WPOP Pop of the Game. Wegmans will then donate $100 to the Red Cross in that player's name. For our viewers, we'll draw a winning entry for 5 cases of WPOP. Send in a postcard with this info. Watch the Chiefs on Cable 13. Stay cool with the taste of WPOP. It's dynamite.
What is CNN Sports Tonight? Highlights? Oh, definitely highlights. The play of the day. I like that. So what's your question? How do we tell the viewers about CNN Sports Tonight? Yeah, let's let the announcer do it.
To catch what happened in sports today, watch CNN Sports Tonight with Nick Charles and Fred Hickman on CNN.
We're a third of the way through it, and Syracuse has the lead tonight. And folks, the excitement of AAA baseball is on Empire Sports Network. This summer, you'll find the most complete coverage of your hometown heroes, featuring the Syracuse Chiefs, the Buffalo Bisons, and the Rochester Red Wings. Coming up Monday night, August 23rd, it's the Bisons against the Omaha Royals at 7 o'clock, and you can see it live right here on the home of hometown heroes, Empire Sports Network.
Rochester second baseman Tommy Hinzo.
Just taking a look through to see what's up tonight here at Big Mac. Nice night for a ball game and a decent crowd turning up. In fact, a very decent sized crowd as it's turned out. A late arriving crowd on a Sunday night.
Yes, it is. 6 o'clock start.
Tommy Hinzo, the batter. He nails one foul to drop behind in the count.
Saw the fan leaping through the program there. Can't tell the players about a program.
Were you the first one to come up with that? I didn't realize that was yours.
I heard it once or twice somewhere along. I can't remember where, but thought I might remember that one. Maybe use it later on.
Let's start writing these down. Chop ball by Hinzo. It's now 1-2. Wouldn't that be a great job? I mean, if you're a kid, what's better than walking around selling programs or hot dogs or get your popcorn here?
Or you could be the Earl of Bud. In Buffalo, guys. I mean, now here's only in Buffalo can this happen, where the guy, a beer vendor, becomes a
shrine
cult hero. I mean, you know, they had Earl of Bud birthday weekend night last night. They gave out 5,000 Earl of Bud faces. These little stick faces that you hold up in front of your face. You could be the Earl of Bud.
Tom Quinlan gets a foul out. Tommy Hinzo pops it over there to Quinlan for the first out of the 4th inning, and the Wings still with only 1 hit in this one tonight, the batter Randy Ruddy. Here we take a look at Hinzo as he goes after the outside offering from Tim Brown.
Yeah, had the right idea. He tried to go the opposite field with it. He just got underneath it, popped it up. Reddy makes the play easily. Or Tom Quinlan makes the play easily.
This is Randy Ruddy, who is
at the plate.
0 for 1 tonight. Tim Brown, though he drops behind here, he's been right around the plate all night. The Chiefs only walked a couple in the game yesterday, and Brown hasn't walked anybody yet here. Control really was the difference in the game yesterday. Syracuse winning at 6-5. The Wings walked 9 Chiefs in the game, and that really came back to bite them.
You walk 9, that's going to hurt you no matter what league you're in, what level you're at, whether it's Little League, high school, A-ball. You name it, you walk 9, very rarely do you win a ball game.
One more time, it's Eddie Zosky for the 2nd out of the inning. That is ground ball number 4. He hit Zosky's way, and he's also handled a pop-up tonight. Got a slugging lefty up there now. Mark Leonard steps in for Rochester.
Left fielder Mark Leonard.
The 3 natural left-hand hitters for the Wings in the lineup tonight. Leonard, Cheeto Martinez, and Paul Carey, all of them going through some sort of a slump right now. Mark Leonard has been getting his base hits, but he has struck out at least once in 11 straight games. And Paul Carey, the lefty that hit 7th in the order, has struck out in 14 straight games. Hard strike from Tim Brown.
A lot of times strikeouts won't hurt you, but there's situations in the ballgame where you have to advance runners, and if you're going to make an out, you know, give yourself hit a ground ball to the right side, advance a runner, or hit a fly ball with a guy on third. You made yourself an out, but you're advancing a runner. You strike an out, you're not advancing anybody.
There's a former San Francisco Giant, Mark Leonard, came over in a trade at the end of spring training. Steve Scarsoni going out to San Francisco.
Well, he had a pretty good series, didn't he? They had to put him in there, and he came up big. Giants having that one of those kind of years where everybody they put in to fill in for an injured player has done a super job for him. That ball's up there.
Domingo Martinez finally brings down the rainbow, and Tim Brown continues to cruise here tonight. He's allowed just one base runner through 4 innings, and off to the bottom of the 4th tonight. It is Syracuse 1, Rochester nothing on Empire Sports Network.
We're gonna cheer, cheer, cheer for the Chiefs. We're gonna swing for the seats, 'cause they play real pretty in the old South City. Gonna rock them down to the cleats. We're gonna cheer for the Chiefs.
Hey, summer in Syracuse means Chiefs baseball. Great family fun at affordable price for the whole family. Come on out to Big Mac and
cheer for the Chiefs.
Major League excitement.
5 nights a week
on ESPN.
Back in Syracuse, the Rochester Red Wings bullpen trying in earnest to amuse itself and doing only a marginal job. It is a 1-0 game as we get to the bottom of the 4th. And the Syracuse Chiefs, as Duke McGuire said earlier, playing for pride right about now. They can, of course, spoil some teams like the Rochester Red Wings in their bid to get first place in the IL East, but for the Chiefs, first place is not something that's a reality for them, but they can still have some fun playing the game and make sure the fans are having fun too.
Yeah, it's not in their immediate goal right now, coming in first place. They got to take them one at a time right now, and it's a gut check every time you go out there. When you're that far out of the race, it's tough sometimes to get yourself going, especially after you come back from a long road trip or something, and man, you'd like to sleep in or something, or yeah, you got to get out there and lace them up. Go get them. It's a tough ballpark here. These bullpens, it's tough to sneak any snacks out there.
Now you are wide out in the open there, no question. Willie Canate, the batter, and it's the ball and no strikes to him. It's also a walk across the infield to get to the clubhouses here at this facility. So there will be no clandestine trips to the bathroom. You've got to, if you walk across the field between innings, just about everybody knows your business. I know where you're going.
Got to pace yourself.
You really do.
There's a good breaking ball.
Yeah, Willie Canate is one of the better fastball hitters on the Syracuse team, but a guy like John O'Donohue can certainly cross him up with that big breaking curve.
Yeah, struggling a little bit this year against Rochester. Only 4 for 24. Good pitch. Way out in front.
John O'Donohue really has been changing speeds very well this year. He's going with that changeup a lot more often, and here's Zaun with that cut. You can see him, yeah, leaning out there out in front.
Yeah, he had to destroy his timing there because the ball was up, so his motion had to be good. There's a good breaking ball right there.
That was gorgeous for the 4th strikeout of the night for John O'Donohue. That's encouraging. We mentioned at the top of the broadcast, O'Donohue has not been ringing up those strikeout numbers like he had been at the beginning of the season. In fact, in a couple of his more recent outings, he's walked more than he's struck out. That's almost unheard of for John O'Donohue. Tonight, no walks and 4 punch-outs.
Yeah, his pitch selection that time was excellent. He had him out in front on the breaking ball, the pitch before that. Then he comes back with a curveball and freezes him.
This is Rob Montalvo. Montalvo, a scrappy little player. He's a good guy to have on a team. Throw him out there at just about any position. He'll do the job for you.
Yeah, he'd rather not be facing Rochester pitching this year. Poor Rob, he's 3 for 34 against Rochester on the year. You're not going to make much money in this game going 3 for 34.
No movies will be made out of your life if you're doing that. And it is 0-2 from O'Donohue to Montalvo right now. 1-0 ball game. Syracuse got one in the bottom of the third. 2-out RBI base hit from Domingo Martinez. Another strikeout for John O'Donohue. He's really got that breaking stuff working.
Yeah, he does, and his breaking ball sets up the fastball right here. He just throws a high fastball right out. It's out of the strike zone, and he throws it right by him because of the fact that it is up and out of the strike zone. But when you get ahead in the count, you get a little bit more anxious at the plate, and you have a tendency to chase that pitch, and exactly what Rob Montalvo did right there. 2 outs, nobody on, 2 punch outs.
Now Monzon with a base hit. Doesn't give O'Donohue the chance to get ahead of him. Just take that, John O'Donohue. And Monzon, who's known more for his defense, drives one in the left for a base hit. It brings up Sean Scott. Take a look at this cut by Monzon, and he's right on top of this pitch from O'Donohue.
Yeah, you didn't see the ball on your screen there. That means he got his arms out in front of him. He hit the ball out in front. Pitch was up there belt high. You can see where he started his swing. And you know, John O'Donohue's not going to get anybody out throwing the ball belt high. So he's going to have to keep the ball down, or if he gets in the head of the count, like he did previous batter, just make him chase it high out of the strike zone. You know, that looks like a rather harmless single right there with 2 outs and nobody on, but that gets the 9th batter up this inning, so that should Scott make the last out, Soho gets the lead off at the top of, at the top of the order next inning.
Sean Scott with no home runs this year, 14 RBI. He pops this one up. Tommy Hinzo racing fourth. The second baseman calls and catches. So O'Donohue is out of trouble. No runs in the inning for the Chiefs with a 1 hit by Jose Monzon. And we will go up to the top of the 5th. Chiefs 1, Red Wings nothing on Empire Sports Network.
They say pot is cool. They say it's a great high. They say everybody does it. They say they're your friends. They're pulling your strings.
Onondaga County's 911 emergency telephone service is now up and running. This means that if you live in Onondaga County, you can get immediate help from police, an ambulance, or the fire department by dialing 911 from either a rotary or push-button phone. 911 saves lives. So remember, in Onondaga County, in an emergency, dial 911. It could mean the difference between life and death.
Syracuse 1 and Rochester nothing in the top of the 5th now. And come on, guys, let's get moving there, the grounds crew. This summer, the place to turn for baseball is Empire Sports Network. We've got it all from AAA to the major leagues, featuring the Buffalo Bisons and their parent club, the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Rochester Red Wings play here, and the Syracuse Chiefs as well. If it's baseball you want, we've got it this summer on Empire Sports Network. Now go on, little doggies.
Look at those guys. They're in slow motion, and they're still moving. It's a great promotion they have there.
They
time them, right.
Yeah. And tonight they were able to drag the infield in 38 seconds. That eclipsed yesterday's mark by 3 seconds if you're scoring at home. Yesterday they went out and did their job wearing cone heads. And I guess Beldar and the boys came back and I guess they wanted them back. No cone heads tonight, although they were changing the bases and doing some raking. Gino Martinez was doing some raking about 2-3 weeks ago. He was driving doubles and home runs and just hitting a lot of hard line drives, but he's struggled the last couple weeks.
Yeah, these are unbelievable, you know, stats on Martinez. You know, he's hitting out his first time today. He's one for his last 28. During that hitting streak, he was 16 for 34. That came on the heels of a 2 for 23. I mean, that really is, unbelievable.
The Yo-Yo Man, Chito Martinez. First guy ever from Belize to play in the major leagues or in any professional baseball league. Martinez, a good backhanded pick. And a nice throw to Brown for the out. Good play at both ends. Brown had to hustle over there. Well, Domingo Martinez, for a big guy, has got some range.
Well, that's a very nice play by Domingo Martinez. He backhands the ball and he makes a perfect throw to Brown, cover in the bag. There's a good swing right there. Here he is. Now watch this. He backhands. He does the 360. He sets himself. He throws a strike. Beautiful play by the big cat over there. Holy cow. You know, that poor guy now, you know, he's gonna have to get himself a new organization. He's gonna be playing behind John Olerud for the next 10 years if he doesn't. Or else, you know, fortunately he's in the American League. They have a DH, but if he was in the National, that'd be like, you know, being a second baseman playing behind Ryan Sandberg or something like that.
They were thinking about trying him out at third base, and Ed Sprague all of a sudden started playing that well enough so that he took over at that point. Mark Smith trailing in the count now 0-2.
Well, that was a nice breaking ball right there. Had him back on his heels a little bit on that one.
It's been a nice display of breaking balls from Brown and O'Donohue tonight.
Yeah, they're both mixing up their pitches well. You know, nobody's really sitting on anything at all. Of course, when you get ahead in the count, that doesn't allow anybody to be sitting on anything.
Mark Smith, very, very diligent up there at the plate as he goes through his motions and gets set up there in the box.
He showed good patience his first trip to the plate tonight.
Hammers this one. That is a fair ball. And chasing in the corner is Soho. This will be extra bases. Mark Smith is second base, and he is now 2 for 2. And boy, that a home run he hit last night must have really done something for his confidence. Mark Smith getting around on one yesterday, driving one out of the yard, and that broke a slump of 1 for 14. And now he's 3 for his last 3 as he bangs this one down near third and by Quinlan.
There was another breaking ball right there. 1 ball, 2 strike pitch, and you could see Smith make a little adjustment right toward the end of his swing there. And you know, you got to look fastball. You can't let anybody throw the ball by you, and then you can adjust to the breaking ball. It's exactly what he did, and he drives it in the corner and left.
Rochester has only 2 base hits tonight. They're both belted balls to left by Smith. Here's Carey ahead in the count, 1-0.
Now, once again, though, you know, he showed that good patience up there. He laid off that 0-2 pitch, and you know, he got a pitch he could handle, and when he got his pitch, he didn't miss it.
Strike into Paul Carey. The strikeout has been a problem for Paul Carey lately. We mentioned it's a streak of 14 games in a row where PC has had at least 1 strikeout, and there was 1 game where he struck out 3 times.
Well, you know, there was no way in the world he was going to reach that pitch. When he struck out on that pitch the first time up, that ball was at least 8 inches outside, and tough to reach that pitch no matter how big. I mean, this guy's a big man, you know, 6'4", and you know, you got arms that can reach that, you know, reach quite a ways, but nobody could reach that pitch. That was a good 8 inches outside he struck out on.
Guns at a 2-1, and again couldn't get a ball that was downstairs.
You know, that's just good pitching right there by Brown. It was 1-1. He came inside on the pitch before, and now he goes right back down and away with, you know, taking something off the ball. Good sequence of pitches so far. Now he's 2-2. He can, you know, he can go with whatever he wants.
Now a full count on Carey, and on deck it's the switch hitting catcher Gregg Zaun. A good look at Paul Carey there. His brother is the top draft pick of the Washington Capitals hockey team last year. He's going to be a goalie for him when he's done playing college hockey at Wisconsin.
Uh-oh.
Paul Carey down on strikes again.
Oh, little mix-up right there. Eddie Zosky broke behind the runner at second base as Brown delivered to home plate. Had Carey just hit a ground ball to the left side of the diamond, he was going to have himself a base hit. Sosky completely vacated that hole there. If you know, you get a situation like that, you got to step off the runner, but it was too late. Brown had already decided he was going home with it. There was a little miscommunication somewhere along the line. I'm sure Bob Didier didn't want his shortstop breaking behind a runner to leave the whole side of the diamond open.
There's Gregg Zaun. You saw that extra G at the end of his first name. That has been requested by Gregg Zaun. On his birth certificate, it's just G-R-E-G, but Gregg Zaun decided that it would look pretty cool if there were 3 G's in his first name, so he's encouraging everybody to call him Gregg Zaun. Just up from Double-A Bowie. And the pitch coming too far inside. Gregg Zaun, the second Z in Rochester Red Wing history. The other also a catcher, Frank Zuppo, back in the 50s. Not too many Z's have gone on to the major leagues. I guess Al Zarilla, Don Zimmer, maybe Richie Zisk.
The Zip.
1-2 the count on Zaun. Paul Zavella used to play here in Syracuse. I guess the
Zorro Versailles.
That doesn't count.
Great name though, isn't it?
It really is.
Zorro.
The Z-Man, Gregg Zaun, trying to become the 28th Z in the major leagues ever. Probably the most unfortunately named Z. I looked it up. Billy Zitzman, Z-I-T-Z-M-A-N-N. He was an outfielder for the Cincinnati Reds in the 1920s and 30s. Billy Zitzman. No way I would make that up. Zaun with a blast. And on his horse for it is Scott. Nice catch.
He covered some ground on that one. That ball was well hit. Scott playing pretty shallow. He got on his horse and made the play. Showing some good range in center field. Sean Scott.
That's the longest ball that Zaun has hit since he's come up. But Sean Scott takes care of it, and it's still 1-0 Syracuse on Empire Sports Network.
Every year we receive over 2 million tons of junk mail. Most of it we don't even read. If you take your name off the list, you can save 1.5 trees each year. If 100,000 people did this, over 150,000 trees would be saved. The next time you reach for a paper towel to clean up a mess in the kitchen,
stop! Reach for a hand towel first.
Personalize hand towels for every member of your family. Use these at the dinner table instead of paper napkins. Help us save our most precious resource.
Trees! Together, we can make a difference.
Josh Lewin, Duke McGuire, and Billy Zitzman back here in Syracuse for tonight's game between the Wings and the Chiefs. And the excitement of AAA baseball is here on Empire Sports Network this summer. You'll find the most complete coverage of your hometown heroes, featuring the Syracuse Chiefs, the Rochester Red Wings, and the Buffalo Bisons. Of course, the Pittsburgh Pirates play here as well all summer long on the home of hometown heroes, Empire Sports Network. Gregg Zaun, that aforementioned Z for the Rochester Red Wings, was robbed of a base hit by an S. 2 of them, actually. Sean Scott in center field. He raced back into Death Valley and was able to take one in, and a blast hit by Gregg Zaun. That's the unfortunate thing about pegging one to center field here. It's just going to be a long out.
If you got wheels on your center fielder.
Well, that really is such an important thing at this ballpark, and with Sean Scott and Damon Buford as the 2 center fielders tonight, you really can't ask for much better than that. The guys patrolling out there in the center, and of course that involves left center and right center as well.
It's like Buffalo, you know, the Bisons. They have to have a speedy center fielder in that ballpark too. It's only .410, but the power alleys are so deep. And, you know, it's so wide out there that you got to have a guy that can really get on his horse and track him down out there. You're at a definite disadvantage.
And we'll see if Damon Buford can catch up to this one. Soho hits it a long way. Oh, and Buford with a nice diving effort, but this one will turn into 3 bases for Soho. Again, we see a Red Wings outfielder actually overextend himself on a diving attempt, and we have seen Damon Buford make that play about 3 or 4 times this year. That would have been something had he made it, and I've been a little bit spoiled watching Damon Buford. I've just come to expect that he makes that catch, and I'm sure Damon is very disappointed that he couldn't get this one either. You'll see him over the one shoulder and off the edge of his glove. Damon will tell you that that's a catch that he makes 9 times out of 10, and believe me, he's got such good speed, he actually will get 10 attempts to make that catch over the course of a month and a half.
Well, I tell you, it seemed like he ran a mile and a half after that ball, and he got there, and the ball just did tip off of his glove. That was one of those tough ones that's directly over your head, and that's a tough play. The ball's to either side a little bit. You got a little bit better angle on it. When it's coming directly over your head like that, that's a very, very difficult play, and he almost made it.
He made that same catch just the other night in Scranton-Wilkes-Barre, brought the crowd to its feet there at the enemy ballpark.
Well, that's a beautiful stadium down there in Scranton-Wilkes-Barre. Nice new ballpark. A few years old now.
They really do turn out and support their team. Here is Eddie Zosky again in a run-producing situation. Soho's been the only guy to get extra base hits for the Chiefs tonight. He's got a double and a triple now.
Well, defensively for Rochester, they're, you know, conceding a run on a ground ball up the middle. They're playing in at the corners. Bobby Missick figuring it's still pretty early in the ball game. They're going to get 4 more hacks at Mr. Brown.
This one gets away from Zaun, and that should get the run in. It will. Zaun got tangled up as he went back for the baseball and never could actually make a throw. It scored a wild pitch, and the Chiefs lead 2-0. Soho has been the story so far for Syracuse. Here we see the pitch getting away from Zaun. O'Donohue just forcing that one. And
well, there's a breaking ball right there. But Zaun's really got to kind of shift and get in front of that ball and smother it, or at least keep it out in front of him. He slides in toward the screen, trying to, you know, slide and pivot and throw at the same time, but he couldn't quite come up with the ball.
So there you see the Chiefs into a 2-0 lead now, with Soho scoring both the runs.
Now, that's one of the problems when your curveball is your best pitch. Sometimes you threw that 59-foot curveball, and with the guy on third, it will result in a couple wild pitches and runs scored against you.
Eddie Zosky now 0 for 3. That's the first out of the inning. Here's Robert Perez. It was Mark Leonard making the catch out there in left. There you see Luis Soho, guy that went over in the trade with the California Angels a couple of years ago and got Devon White out there for a while. Strike to Robert Perez here, and Soho never really did pan out there in California. They made him their starting second baseman the year of that trade. Before the year was over, he was back down in AAA. He spent the whole year last year with the Angels. Luis Soho, a guy that came into this game hitting 171. He's got a double and a triple tonight and a couple runs scored.
Wow, you know, we know that Soho is not a 171 hitter. It's just a matter of time before the guy gets himself in a little bit of a groove and gets going. And tonight he's been on the ball pretty well.
2 balls a strike to Robert Perez. He's gone 1 for 2. Another chance for Mark Leonard in left field. And Leo takes care of it. It'll be Domingo Martinez, who appropriately enough is hitting on a Sunday evening. Domingo in Spanish is Sunday. So this is Sunday Martinez at the plate.
I'm not going to call him that. You can call him whatever you want.
I said it, Duke. Duke McGuire's my name. Domingo hit by a pitch in this game and also had the RBI single in the third. Well, call him whatever you want. He is on some kind of a tear right now.
I'll call him sir. That's okay.
Yes, that would be Mr. Martinez.
Mr. Domingo Martinez.
Out in front here is O'Donohue changing speeds again, evens the count. 2-0 ball game. Syracuse leading Rochester, and again for the Chiefs, it's an opportunity to play spoiler against Rochester, and then later on against Pawtucket when they come in later this week. Chiefs can keep the Wings out of first and the Sox out of the playoffs.
Josh, looking down this Rochester Red Wing roster, that's kind of a little tongue twister there, but it really the disadvantage that they don't have much left-handed pitching, you know, and sometimes down the stretch, well, you've got to have that left-hander in the bullpen to come in and get a tough left-handed hitter out. And
now you're looking at the only lefty on the roster right here. Arthur Rhodes was here for a while on rehab, a lefty, of course, and he went back up to the Orioles. Rochester started the season with 2 lefties in the bullpen. They both retired. Pat Clements on the first day of May, Steve Searcy on the last day of May.
Yeah, you know, it's just awful tough to win without a left-hander in the bullpen.
This left-hander, John O'Donohue, ends up getting through the 5th after Luis Sojo triples and scores on the wild pitch. And now heading to the 6th, it is Syracuse 2 and the Rochester Red Wings nothing here on the Empire Sports Network.
Wegmans and Cable 13 have a cool answer to hot Chiefs baseball. During games on Cable 13, one player will win Wegmans WPOP Pop of the Game. Wegmans will then donate $100 to the Red Cross in that player's name. For our viewers, we'll draw a winning entry for 5 cases of WPOP. Send in a postcard with this info. Watch the Chiefs on Cable 13. Stay cool with the taste of WPOP. It's dynamite.
At Syracuse Ladder and Scaffolding, there's more to us than just our name. We provide a wide range of products and services to fulfill all your contracting needs. We offer an extensive inventory of parts and supplies, plus a complete line of construction equipment, along with job site delivery and repairs. For service that's a step above the rest, stop by our showroom or call for more information. Syracuse Ladder and Scaffolding, all your contracting needs from a single source.
Good pitching matchup tonight. Syracuse is leading Rochester as we get to the 6th, 2-0. And the excitement of AAA baseball is on the Empire Sports Network. This summer, you'll find the most complete coverage of your hometown heroes, the Bisons, the Chiefs, the Red Wings, the Pirates. Hey, all summer long. It's going to be right here on the home of hometown heroes, Empire Sports Network.
Geez, you watch that Pirate ball club, you see half the Bisons team from the last couple of years up there. Unbelievable turnaround in that club, losing all those players to free agency. And
here's a strike to Manny Alexander as we get the 6th going. That's been the same thing, I know, for the Blue Jays and for the Orioles as well. As you watch guys go up from AAA and make a contribution. Tim Brown is making his contribution tonight for this Syracuse team. Good numbers. Big cut for Manny Alexander. He had that home run last night, and ever since then, he's been swinging for the downs.
He was looking to duplicate it right there. Sometimes that's not a good idea. You know, contact hitter. He's not a real big guy. You know, he's not going to be a power hitter, and his home runs are going to come on line drives. Sometimes you do hit that one home run, and all of a sudden you're going to muscle up for a week, and you put yourself right in a slump.
This is the speedy part of the Rochester batting order here. Alexander, Buford, and Hinzo to come up in this inning. Punch ball right back near us, and the count stays at 1-2. That, for Manny Alexander, has to be what he's shooting for, is to get on base and give Damon Buford an opportunity to maybe sculpt the hit and run, play for a bigger inning here as the Wings trail by a couple.
Yeah, Alexander runs well. He's stolen 12 out of 16 this year, so if he can get himself on, you know, they're down a couple. Bobby Missick might want to get things going a little bit. A little spark in his ball club, might hit and run, let him steal, you know, get things going. Try something.
That big Red Wing machine has kind of sputtered here in Syracuse. Yesterday, the team limited to 7 hits. Tonight, Tim Brown has tossing the 2-hit shutout. Nice job by Alexander to get back in the count. Alexander had a 3-ball, 2-strike count on him yesterday in the 9th inning in a key situation, but then he went after a slider in the dirt. Manny hasn't walked in 4 weeks. So
he's up there hacking.
He really is. And wouldn't you know it, Ceddy Zosky again, and it's going to be one Dominican tagging the other. Domingo Martinez slapping the tag on Manny Alexander as the throw is a little bit wide.
That's one of the first times tonight that Brown's gone 3 balls on a batter, and he came right in there with a fastball and challenged Alexander, made him beat it into the ground. Zosky came up and made a nice play on a little bit of an in-between hop, threw it a little bit wide, but the big cat jumping off the bag and making the tag.
Damon Buford is the leadoff hitter for the Rochester Red Wings, #1 man in the order. Flash the bunt, but the strike is called.
Well, that's not a bad idea right there. Any way to get yourself on base, and geez, the way Brown's throwing so far, he's not going to walk anybody.
Control, really, yeah, it has been such a big part of this series. A very brief 2-game series, but the Wings walking 9 yesterday, and that really was their downfall. The Chiefs walked only a couple. Again tonight with Brown not walking anybody. The Rochester Red Wings induced to get a lot of baseballs on the ground, and this very slick middle infield here. Zosky and Montalvo has been equal to it.
Yeah, 9 walks last night. That's unbelievable when you consider they walked only 1 batter in the previous 30 innings. That's outstanding control right there.
The Wings have walked more batters than every other team in this league, save 1. They're even on a 3-1 pitch. It's Brown coming right back in there. He nips the corner and gets back to a full count.
Yeah, you got to throw it in here. You got to throw a strike. Got to challenge it. No, he's not really a long ball hitter. He's only got 1 on the season.
Little looper, and that'll drop.
Yeah, same as a walk, though. You know, you throw it in there, you got 8 guys behind you, and you got a chance to play a little defense. If you walk somebody, as we mentioned before, there's no defense for that.
This will create an intriguing situation here, Duke. You've got Jose Monzon as the Syracuse catcher. You've got Damon Buford as the base runner because of this swing and the bloop shot into center field. And Damon Buford has perhaps the best raw speed of anybody in this league right now. He's the base runner, and Jose Monzon with that cannon-like arm. This will be a very interesting confrontation if Buford actually wants to get going.
Yes, it will. He's stolen 10 out of 11 this year, and so bluffs the bunt and takes a strike. With Monzon, with it, you know, he's got a cannon. He's throwing out 50% of the runners right here. I think if this was a tie ball game, they might take a whack at it, but down 2, you know, if they start him, they might be on a hit and run. It'd be a gutsy move by Bobby Missick to send this guy because, as we mentioned, Monzon, he's got a cannon.
And Brown, very cognizant of the speed of Damon Buford, will check him out. Buford took round 1 yesterday. He did steal on Monzon in the 9th inning yesterday, but the Red Wings could not come up with that tying base hit.
Now, Josh, baseball has changed. So, you know, it used to be, you know, 20, 30 years ago, you're down 2 or 3 runs late in a ball game. Nobody ever ran. I mean, you know, they'd always play for a big inning, and they don't want to take the chance of losing a base runner. Now the game is, you know, so reliant on speed now that they run anytime, any place, anywhere. It's amazing.
The Wings, with the confidence that they have swinging the bats, they figure, heck, even if they only get 1 here in the 6th, that sets them up to get 1 more next inning. That's really how they approach it. That does come from the manager, Bob Missick, who's, well, he was a very aggressive player in his day, and he's that way as a manager too.
I'll tell you a little something about Bobby Missick. He played in Buffalo a long time ago, and I don't know if he was, I can't remember now if he was drafted or if they signed him as a free agent, but even if he was drafted, he was very, very late. And they gave him no shot at all of, you know, making it to Double-A. Well, he comes to Buffalo, plays Double-A, does well. He's up in Triple-A. They said, nah, he can't play in Triple-A. He did all right in Triple-A. I mean, here's a guy that just worked. You know, he worked himself so hard. Pitch out.
And it's up to Buford's speed. They got him. Only the 2nd time this year Buford's been caught, and both times it's been on a pitch out. Nicely scoped out by the Syracuse Chiefs, and Buford almost stole the base anyway.
Yes, he did. It had to be a perfect throw to get him. even with the pitch out.
There you see Damon motoring on, and that throw was right there.
Certainly was. Well, we said Zone could throw, and there was a perfect example of it. But getting back to Bobby Missick, he worked hard and made himself a good ball player. And those are the kind of guys that make good managers. Those guys that, you know, have that good work ethic. They're not afraid to get out there early, throw BP, and you know, and work hard to improve their ball club.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Now the count on Tommy Henzo after that souvenir. Nicely done, sir. Yes, hello.
You know, if I think back correctly, they just signed him one season because they needed a player somewhere down in A-ball. Somebody had gotten hurt, and they needed a body to fill in, and he worked himself up to a AAA player.
In the air to left. And Luis Sojo waiting for it. Handles it, and the Wings are done hitting in the 6th inning. Tim Brown just keeps on moving along in this one. He's tossing the 3-hit shutout. On to the bottom of the 6th, 2-0 Syracuse. Look at that sign in the background. Just saw it. It's the Empire Sports Network.
We're gonna cheer, cheer, cheer for the Chiefs. We're gonna swing for the seats. 'Cause they play real pretty in the old South City. We're gonna rock them down to the police. We're gonna cheer for the Chiefs.
Hey, summer in Syracuse means Chiefs baseball. Great family fun at affordable price for the whole family. Come on out to Big Mac and
cheer for the Chiefs.
What's that on the TV?
You broke it. You broke it with that remote thing.
It's words.
Always changing and changing.
It says something.
So read it already.
It's too small. I need my glasses.
You're wearing your glasses.
Ah, that's better. Large print books at the library.
I knew that.
From when?
From my last visit. Romance, mystery, thrill.
Yeah, you should bring some home.
Maybe I'll bring you a cookbook.
What's that?
You broke it again. That's better.
There's your line to score through 5.5. The Rochester Red Wings and Syracuse Chiefs going at it tonight. And the dimensions of the field and the rules of the game are both a little bit different, but the action is just as fast and furious, eh? Canadian football returns to Empire Sports Network Friday night when the Edmonton Eskimos battle the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The action begins at 8:30. Can be seen live on Empire Sports Network. You see the football jersey. Somebody's in the spirit of the things, even though, well, I guess Louisiana's not ultra close to Canada, but Saints jersey, which reminds us that football season is upon us. Duke McGuire's getting excited about that. Those Buffalo Bills starting to shape up a little.
Well, they didn't look too sharp yesterday, but it's, you know, exhibition game. They never win in the exhibition season. Everybody's pushing the panic button.
Tom Quinlan pushes one to left center field. Buford and Leonard come together. It's Buford, the center fielder, who takes it. And the batter will be Julian Jan. Well, this ball game tonight has really evolved into quite a battle between the lefty O'Donohue and the righty Brown. We are still waiting to see our first walk of the ball game tonight for either side. There's what O'Donohue's been able to do tonight, the 6 strikeouts in 5 1/3. He is moving very close to the top 5 in this league in the strikeouts.
Well, this is the second time I've had the pleasure to be here in Syracuse doing a ball game. I've been treated to 2 pretty good pitching duels. The last time we were here, 1-0 in 12 innings, Norfolk over Syracuse, with Ryan Thompson hitting a home run in the 12th. And tonight, a 2-0 ball game right here. The Chiefs on top.
The pitchers love this guy, Duke McGuire.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm going to have a little talk with Bob Didier. He might want to stick around and be the pitching coach here. They don't score much off me when I'm down here.
John O'Donohue ready to face Julian Jan again. Jan has gone 0 for 2 in this one. Big cut again. Julian Jan, a guy that's been stuck at Double-A for a few years, and here he gets an opportunity finally in 1993. Only a kind of a role player this year, part-timer, and a big cut at a big breaker that time.
Yeah, it's one of those 59-foot curveballs he's just chasing there, and here's another one. Boy, I'll tell you what. He does have some kind of curveball. Some of them seems he throws a little bit harder than others, and that looked like one of the little bit harder ones. And really had a lot of bite on it. Yeah, not even close. That looked like the pitch right there. That's the one that hit Martinez in the foot. Same one, a little bit harder breaking ball.
7 strikeouts now for O'Donohue. He's up to 110 for the season now. That is 5th in the league. He's gone past his own teammate Mike Oquist. Rob Montalvo the batter, and there is Zaun. He's kind of hanging out in the dugout now, wondering if he will ever be able to make contact against the curve.
Well, sometimes, you know, he hasn't played since Wednesday. You know, it's kind of tough when you don't get a chance to play regularly to step in there and come. That's why those utility players in the big leagues are so important. There's some guys that can get up in the middle of winter and go out and hit you a line drive, and then there's some guys that, you know, they have to play regularly to hit. So Zaun's struggling a little bit tonight. Might be one of the latter.
Only 9 hits in this ball game so far, and no walks. O'Donohue and Zaun is a battery for Rochester. That's a young battery.
Well, that makes it nice when, you know, guys aren't walking 9 like you mentioned last night. 9 walks. We had a ball game in Buffalo the other night. 9-inning ball game, hour 42 minutes. Roy Smith throwing against Bob Sebra. 9-inning complete game. Buffalo had to hit in the bottom of the 9th, and it only took an hour and 42 minutes between the two guys. I don't think there was a base on ball in between those two guys. Or excuse me, it was Sebra against Lee Hancock. 2-1 ball game. Outstandingly pitched ball game.
Randy Reddy with the opportunity. And across the diamond to carry, so O'Donohue very easily out of the 6th. This one humming right along tonight as well. We're all the way to the 7th. It is Syracuse 2, Rochester nothing on Empire Sports Network.
Fans, don't forget to pick up your tickets now for Friday, August 13th, when the Chiefs take on
Is life uneventful? Are you bored, stiff? Do you feel like you're living in the 17th century? Check out Weekender on Cable 13. Host Lorraine Rapp gives some great tips on things to do and see around Central New York. So don't be bored on the weekends. Check out Weekender every Monday at 7 p.m. and Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. only on Cable 13.
Get ready for game time. The Mets are on WWOR EMI service. If you're a transplanted New Yorker or a baseball believer, a loyal Mets fan or a big little leaguer, you won't want to miss a pitch of the New York Mets on WWOR EMI service. At home and on the road, your team plays here. The New York Mets on WWOR EMI service. What to watch when you love the game.
Upstairs and watching on tonight as the Chiefs take on the Red Wings. Syracuse with the 2-0 lead to this point.
I gotta wave to my daughter in case she's.
The excitement of AAA baseball, as we have chronicled tonight, is on Empire Sports Network. This summer you'll find the most complete coverage of your hometown heroes, featuring all your favorites. Bisons, the Red Wings and Chiefs joining those National Leaguers, the Pittsburgh Pirates. You're on the home of hometown heroes, Empire Sports Network. Crowd is watching a good pitching duel tonight between Tim Brown and John O'Donohue. Luis Sojo has scored both the runs for the Chiefs. That's been pretty much all the excitement tonight. The 2 runs scored by Sojo. Randy Reddy, who has hit Chiefs pitching mighty well, trying to get something started for Rochester, and he bangs it in the left for a base hit. So sure enough, Randy Reddy becomes the first leadoff man to reach for the Rochester Red Wings tonight. That's been a kind of a big part of the story that we haven't talked about yet, Duke, but if you're not getting that leadoff guy on, there's really not a lot of ways that the inning can go unless Tim Brown makes a mistake, and he hasn't done that.
Right, it's tough to build runs if you don't get the leadoff man on, and as you mentioned, that's the first time it's happened this evening, and Randy Reddy just sat on that pitch and drilled it between third and short, hit it well.
So we get the left-hander Anthony Ward up in the bullpen for the first time now for Syracuse. Looks like the Wings will get some action in their bullpen as well. That is Brian Wood. Steve Luber, the pitching coach, number 35, watching on. I think he heard me. He turned around. Sorry, Steve. Go back to work. Didn't mean to interrupt you there. You got a left-handed hitter up there, and with a runner at first base, a gaping hole on the right side of the infield. And Leonard socks it down the right field line. Going towards the corner is Perez, and this game will be tied up. Mark Leonard strokes it out of here right after the visit to the mound. And this one knotted up 2 apiece. Leonard's 13th home run of the year.
Well, right there, Tim Brown trying to get a fastball inside. Get on the hands of Mark Leonard, and he'd have nothing to do with that. He got the head of the bat out and hit a towering fly ball to right. It was just a question of fair or foul. Fair by a good 10 feet back on the roof of that building behind the right field wall, and we got a tie ball game here at MacArthur Stadium.
Roof shot indeed for Mark Leonard. He'd been tied up by that hard inside stuff all night, but looked like that time he was ready for it. Now another power hitter, Cheeto Martinez. He powers it foul, and it's 0-1.
Well, that was a good pitch right there by Brown. He just came right back. Another good, strong left-handed hitter here, and he started him off with a changeup. Had Martinez way out in front.
Cheeto trying to break out of that 1 for 29 slump. Now he'll have to do it the hard way because he's in the hole 0-2. A pitch that is at least near that outside corner.
That's a tough pitch to handle right there.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Now they count to Cheeto Martinez. Action continues in both bullpens. Martinez is backed off the plate. Tim Brown has now allowed 15 home runs this year, and the gopher ball has been a problem for him here in 1993. Domingo Martinez will retire Cheeto Martinez. That is a first out of the inning.
Excuse me, Jeff, you mentioned at the top of the telecast tonight that this ballpark is deep out in the alleys in center field. If you're going to hit a home run here, you got to pull it, and it's exactly what Mark Leonard did, pulling it down the line. It's only 320 down the line, and that 320 is not going to hold Mark Leonard.
We'll take a look at that swing by Mark Leonard as he launches it on what used to be the visitors' dressing quarters here at MacArthur Stadium.
Yeah, you can see Leonard is right up on the plate, and there's a fastball down and in, and most left-handers like that pitch right there, that down and in pitch, and here it is on the roof.
Now it's Mark Smith who's down on the count 0-1. Smith tonight 2 for 2 with a single and a double. Through 5 1/3, he's was the guy that had the only couple of hits off of Tim Brown. Flips this one off of Moan's zone, and it's 0-2.
There's a good fastball up in there right there. Had him tied up a little bit with that one.
It's the first time the Red Wings have faced Tim Brown this year, but they did get to see him a couple times last year, including the very last game of 1992, which was Tim Brown against John O'Donohue. That's what we've got tonight. Didn't miss by much, but it's 1-2 on Smith. 2-2 tie now in the top of the 7th inning. Mark Leonard's 13th home run of the year. 3 of them have been at this ballpark. Breaking ball is not given to Tim Brown here. It's 2-2.
Well, like we mentioned, if you're a pull hitter, 320 down the lines is pretty inviting. It does go out rather quickly, so you gotta get the head of the bat out and pull the ball.
Again, Mark Smith very patient up there at the plate and watches the count balloon full.
That's a secret to success right there. You want to be aggressive, but you can't be swinging at bad pitches. You have to be patient and get a strike, and it's exactly what he's done so far. But right there, he wasn't too patient. Looked like he chased a high fastball.
Mark Smith, who we mentioned had that confidence back, it looked like, with a home run yesterday, 2 for 2 tonight, and then taking a big rip right there to pitch from Tim Brown.
It's his high fastball zone he couldn't catch up with, but he had good confident swing at that ball. He didn't get cheated. He got a good rip at it. He just couldn't quite catch up with it. Now they want the lefty.
And they're going to go get the lefty out of the bullpen to face the lefty, Paul Carey. It is a predominantly lefty lineup for the Rochester Red Wings tonight. And they will now go get Anthony Ward to come on and face Paul Carey. Carey probably is actually pretty thankful for that. He had struck out twice against Tim Brown tonight.
Yeah, he had done a real good job against him tonight. Although I'll tell you what, being a left-handed hitter myself, even if I'm 0 for 2 against a right-hander, I'd be rather to hit against the right-hander than the lefty anytime.
Nice outing for Tim Brown. He gets into the 7th inning before tiring. And Tim Brown, who had that perfect game earlier this year, he wasn't perfect tonight, but he was very good.
Yeah, he did a real good job tonight. He kept it right in the ballgame. He made one bad pitch, and he had to pay for it. Unfortunately, now he leaves in a situation where he can't pick up a win, but he can't get a loss either. He did a good job tonight.
There's Anthony Ward, who was belted around pretty good at this level last year, and certainly nothing outstanding with the numbers yet here in 1993. Anthony Ward last year for Syracuse, a 6.87 ERA. He was 2-9. But certainly a little bit better here this time around with that 5.7 ERA and a 1-1 record. This guy is a native of Oklahoma.
Yeah, last year 73 innings and Syracuse gave up 100 hits. That's that's a lot of hits, folks.
Walking 34 along the way as well in those 73 innings, and just not a good season for Mr. Ward, but he has been good in the spots this year. He's pitched well a couple times against Rochester. And Paul Carey, who's notorious for not hitting lefties too well, will have to hit a lefty right now in a 2-2 game, 7th inning. There's Bob Missick, Red Wing manager. In his first year at AAA, it's only his 3rd year as a manager. The guy's only 35 years old.
Well, once again, when you're a hard worker and you command the respect of your ball players, it really doesn't make any difference how old you are. And see, this is the advantage that Bob Didier has over Bobby Missick right here. He's got the left-hander to come out of the bullpen, face a good, strong left-handed power hitter. With Missick, he's got to go to the bullpen. All of a sudden, now he's got to see a Lee Stevens come off the bench, a guy that can get you one in a hurry.
Ball and a strike to Paul Carey. More action again in the Syracuse bullpen. Right-hander Kyle Dewey. Right now it's lefty against lefty, though. And Carey hops ahead 2-1. You've got a switch hitter on deck, and after that, 2 righties. There you see Dewey, the guy just up from AA. Gregg Zaun, your on-deck hitter. 3 balls and a strike now to Carey.
Yeah, Dewey just up from AA. He appeared in 37 games with the Smokies. 2-3 with a 6.88 ERA.
Yeah, that'll get you up, sure.
Oh.
Yeah, not glowing numbers for Mr. Dewey, but they will give him a shot here at AAA in the month of August. 3-1 coming to Carey. And again, Carey has to deal with a full count. Remember, Carey has already struck out a couple times in this one tonight. So that last one coming in from Anthony Ward. But now Carey able to look at one low, and it's ball 4 to Paul Carey.
He tried to throw him a 3-2 breaking ball right there after throwing him a fastball on 3-1, and Carey showing a good eye laying off that thing. It wasn't even close.
It's the first walk of the night for either side. Gregg Zaun will be the batter. He was robbed of a hit in the 5th inning when Sean Scott went zooming back into the valley in center field to catch up to one. That's the longest ball we've seen Gregg Zaun hit at the AAA level, but here at MacArthur Stadium, that's just a kind of a run-of-the-mill 400-foot fly ball out to center. And Zaun gets ahead 2-0. We mentioned this guy as a nephew of former Orioles catcher Rick Dempsey, a guy that used to slide around on the tarp during the rain delay.
Among other things.
Among other things which shall remain nameless.
Nameless.
Gregg Zaun went around. It's 2-1.
Well, Anthony Ward, he's got to go right after this guy right here. He's got Carey on first base. The guy's not being any kind of a threat to go. He doesn't have any kind of a lead. Martinez almost might be better off playing behind him. Don't even put it in the pitcher's mind that he can throw over there. Let him just concentrate on getting the hitter right here. He could fall down and get back to first.
Strike two right in there. There you see Anthony Ward came on this inning for Tim Brown. Go-ahead man is on base for Rochester here in the top of the 7th. Big game for the Red Wings. Ottawa has already won its game from this afternoon, and if the Wings do not win this game, they'll only have a 3-game lead on the second-place Lynx. Got him. Gregg Zaun down on strikes, having built a 2-0 advantage in that sequence. So the walk and the strikeout for Anthony Ward as he comes on in relief. Rochester does tie the score on the 2-run homer by Leonard, and at the stretch, all tied up 2-2.
At Syracuse Ladder and Scaffolding, there's more to us than just our name. We provide a wide range of products and services to fulfill all your contracting needs. We offer an extensive inventory of parts and supplies, plus a complete line of construction equipment, along with job site delivery and repairs. For service that's a step above the rest, stop by our showroom or call for more information. Syracuse Ladder and Scaffolding, all your contracting needs from a single source.
I am very particular in the type of music I listen to.
I'm a music person. I love my music.
We're talking about wall-to-wall, back-to-back music.
The quality is absolutely perfect.
It's just real convenient. You always have something to listen to.
We have access to an infinite variety of excellent sound.
If you are that kind of music lover, digital cable radio is definitely for you.
Call Adelphia Cable to order digital cable radio, 474-4444.
They are rooting for the home team here in Syracuse at the 7th inning stretch. Crowd of 5,015 along with us in a 2-2 tie between the Wings and the Chiefs. Mark Leonard's home run off of Tim Brown got this one even. And now John O'Donohue try to get through Moan's zone. Scott in Soho. That's the 8-9-1 part of the order. Soho's the guy that scares you if you're John O'Donohue. Soho has doubled and tripled and scored both of the Syracuse runs tonight.
Leading off for the Chiefs, the catcher, Jose Monzon.
John O'Donohue got one start in the big leagues this year. Knew he was only going up there for a very short stay. He comes back down with a record of 0-1 at the major league level and an 8.1 earned run average, but you know he'll get back up there.
Yeah, the Yanks beat him up pretty good in that one start, but that's a tough team to break in against.
Zone fouls one back here to begin the 7th inning. It's 0-1, and Duke McGuire was all set to spring out and make a diving stop of that foul ball, but
I was going to bring my glove tonight. I forgot about that. Last time I was up here, I said, hey, I'm in range here.
Monzon hammers one to left field, and Mark Leonard going back to the warning track before he will lock it up. Monzon with only one home run all year, and meatball served up by John O'Donohue. Monzon almost took it out.
Well, you know, that's getting pretty deep out there. We're talking 375 at the fence where Leonard hauled that one in, and had he pulled it, as we mentioned, you got to pull it to get it out of here. Had he pulled it, could have given the Chiefs a lead again, but there's Leonard. He's camping underneath that ball. It just seemed to hang up there a little bit. No wind whatsoever anymore to speak of.
Sean Scott, a laser to right center field. Damon Buford will cut it off, and Sean Scott continues to hit Red Wings pitching very well. He's a guy that ended the Red Wings season last year. Rochester in a must-win game at this ballpark right at the end of the season had this guy beat them with a triple in the 9th inning.
Well, there's a pitch. Yeah, it was up, and he just drills it into center field. Buford gets over to cut it off. Scott runs well. It's be interesting now. See what kind of a move that the big left-hander has.
Especially with Luis Sojo coming up now, you wonder if John O'Donohue is long for this ball game. Mike Cook has now gotten up in the bullpen for Rochester. Remember, they're all right-handers in the Red Wings bullpen. O'Donohue allowed the double to left by Sojo, then the triple to center.
Well, Sean Scott stolen 6 out of 10 on the year. I think if the count would present itself, you might give him a shot.
Carey holds the runner on at first. Strike one dealt from O'Donohue, and boy, both the starting pitchers, Brown for Syracuse and O'Donohue, still in there for Rochester. It seems like when they need a strike, they get it in this game tonight.
Well, that was a good pitch right there, right on the outside corner. We got a pretty good look at it here, just above the catcher, and that one painted the black.
Now Sojo's in a hole at 0-2.
Well, 0-2, of course. Now it's a tough count for Scott to run, but also right there, he was leaning back toward first base. He doesn't have the move figured out just yet.
Luis Sojo was given the opportunity to not come back to Syracuse. He could have gone the free agency route and tried to hook on with somebody else, but he figured, now I'll come back here to Syracuse, get my at-bats, and he could be an important addition for Syracuse down the stretch. Helped them win a ball game yesterday, and certainly he's been the story tonight offensively for the Chiefs, scoring both their runs.
Well, if he can pick up the pace a little bit and continue the way he's been going the last couple of days, could be a valuable addition off the bench down the stretch. Especially after, you know, that September 1st deadline, you can get up there and, of course, with Syracuse, you know, they'll be out of the playoffs and everything. They won't have to keep him around here at all. He can just jump right up there. And Toronto being in the race, I'm sure they wouldn't hesitate to give him the nod.
We talked earlier about what Syracuse has to be playing for right now, seemingly out of the playoff picture in the International League. But a lot of guys can make a push to get that September 1st call-up. Guys like Sojo, certainly, and even people like Zosky and Perez and Domingo Martinez, just to name a few.
Yeah, those guys right there, I'm sure those guys would all get a good look.
Breaking pitch stays high from O'Donohue. It's 1-2.
Well, you never know. I mean, you know, sometimes you get a long ball game. You got to make a lot of switches here or there. One of these guys could come up in a tough situation late in the season and become a hero for you. You know, we're with a 25 or 25 man roster, they might not get that shot, but you know, managers can maneuver a little bit more when they expand the rosters after September 1st, and you just never know who could be the hero.
Ed Sprague, who was here for a while in Syracuse last year, went up and won a World Series game for the Blue Jays last year. There goes the runner, swing and a miss, and here's the throw, not in time. So the second out of the inning is in the books, but well, even when Sojo strikes out, he gets something out of it because Scott was on the move, and you'll see Scott with that quick check to see how he's doing.
And he dives in ahead of the throw easily, beats the throw from Zaun. Sojo strikes out on a pitch, looked like it was a high fastball up out of the strike zone, and Scott got a pretty good jump that time. He's got himself down in scoring position now where he can score on a base hit.
And because of that, this will probably end the night for John O'Donohue. Mike Cook is in the bullpen, and here's Bob Missa going to the mound. Remember, you've got the all right-hand hitting lineup for the Syracuse Chiefs, and this might not be a bad time to go get the right-handed Mike Cook. There he is warming up. O'Donohue has handled Zosky without a lot of problems tonight. Zosky is 0 for 3, but it's going to be Cook called on to come in and face Eddie Zosky, the Syracuse shortstop. Now that the go-ahead runs out there at second base here in the 7th inning.
Well, Cook only 3 and 7 on the year, but he's a strikeout guy. 61 innings, 60 strikeouts. So he'd like nothing more than to come in and punch out Eddie Zosky right here.
There goes John O'Donohue out of the game after a super night. He didn't walk anybody, and he struck out 8.
Yeah, he got a nice hand from the fans here. Of course, probably a lot of Rochester fans made the trek down, but got to appreciate that kind of effort right there. 8 strikeouts and no walks. And
Mike Cook comes on in a pressure-packed 7th inning here. He cannot allow a base hit to Zosky. With the speed of Sean Scott out there at second, a base hit makes it 3-2 Syracuse. And Mike Cook is the closer, or at least was the closer for the Wings. And you note those 7 losses, and certainly you don't doubt why Bob Missick would want to start fanning out some of the other duties to some of the other people in the bullpen. Well, we mentioned it's a pretty night here in Syracuse. That is it's a nice piece of camera work right there.
Like a jigsaw puzzle, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does a little bit. This has been a good ball game on a very pretty night here in Central New York. Very happy to be bringing the action to you here on Empire Sports Network. Josh Lewin, Duke McGuire with you. Here's the third baseman for Rochester, Randy Reddy. And the guy on the mound, Mike Cook. He was the guy that really was a surprise for the Orioles in the spring training. They didn't know exactly what to expect out of this guy. They kind of took a flyer on him this offseason, signed him off to after a great winter. He had a 4-1 record playing winter ball and a 0.6 ERA.
Wow.
And he was just phenomenal. So the Orioles figured, why not? Let's sign him to a AAA contract. They invited him to spring training. And he was wowing everybody up there as well. John Oates certainly was impressed, the manager of the Orioles. And Mike Cook ends up here at Rochester with an ERA in the 3s. Eddie Zosky is nipped by the pitch, so the very first offering from Cook gets him in trouble. He's got 2 on now and has to face Robert Perez. And right there, that has been the problem for Cook. Everything he throws moves, and sometimes a little bit too much. This one zooming in on Eddie Zosky, and will just barely clip him.
There's a fastball, rides up and in, but Zosky gets out of the way perfectly right there. He pivots, he rotates backwards right there. He doesn't try and turn into the ball. He turns back away from it. He turns his back toward it, and he just gets tipped on the sleeve right there. But that's the way you're instructed to get out of the way of a pitch right there.
And again, you see the tailing action on everything that Mike Cook throws. This puts the pressure on the young catcher Gregg Zaun as he will try to keep this breaking stuff down and in front of him. Big cut. Robert Perez tonight. He is 1 for 3. A couple on and a couple out here. One from Cook. Sean Scott's going to be sent. Damon Buford overruns it. It'll be runners at the corners, and the Chiefs have gone up 3-2. Mike Cook comes on and gives it up. The base hit to center by Robert Perez, and the Chiefs have the lead.
Oh, that's a clutch hit right there by Robert Perez, but I'll tell you what, that's a tough break for John O'Donohue. Now the guy's, right now he's a pitcher of record on the losing side. Damon Buford charged the ball hard. It would have been a close play at the plate because the ball was hit so hard. Scott runs well. That would have been very interesting to see what would have happened had Buford fielded the ball cleanly.
We'll take a look at Scott getting waved around. Remember, it was his 1-out single and then his stolen base. Did set it all up, and this number 9 hitter has done the job for the Chiefs tonight.
Good clutch hit right there by Perez. I'll tell you what, and Scott came around third. He cut the bag nicely. That was going to be a close play at the plate, but Buford couldn't quite come up with it cleanly. He just scored a base hit and an RBI and let it go at that.
Now Martinez with a dribbler solely to Alexander. Nice play to get the Red Wings out of the inning, but Mike Cook comes on. He hits Zosky and then gives up the base hit by Perez. And Syracuse retakes the lead. We'll go to the 8th inning. 3-2 Chiefs.
We're gonna cheer, cheer, cheer for the Chiefs. We're gonna swing for the seats. 'Cause they play real pretty in the old South City. Gonna rock them down to the beat. We're gonna cheer for the Chiefs.
Hey, summer in Syracuse means Chiefs baseball. Great family fun at affordable price for the whole family. Come on on out to Big Mac and
Cheer for the Chiefs.
Two innings to go in this one, and Syracuse has a 3-2 lead on Rochester. As we get comfortable up here and get set for the final couple innings.
I wave to my daughter Shannon. See if she's back from watching the chicken tonight. The chicken's in Buffalo tonight.
Leading off for the Red Wings, shortstop Manny Alexander.
Nice play by Manny Alexander to end the inning. That was a tough play.
He's got a great throwing arm and showed it off there to get Domingo Martinez. See if Alexander can get on against Anthony Ward. And he was showing the bunt, but it's 1-0. All of a sudden, Ward is on line for a victory in this one. Which hardly seems fair the way Tim Brown pitched, but this is the way it shakes down right now.
Tough break for both starters. It's one of those games where you hate to see either of those guys lose a ball game, but right now, O'Donohue, the pitcher of record on the losing side for the Red Wings.
And he gets hung with a total of 3 runs instead of 2 after the base hit by Perez, who was actually achieved off of Mike Cook. Ward still trying to establish that breaking ball and get it across the plate. And Manny Alexander, who we mentioned has walked only 15 times all year and not at all in a month, he goes ahead in the count.
You gotta love the guy. He's up there hacking and slashing.
Interesting to note that 2 of the 15 walks by Manny Alexander this year have been with the bases loaded, and one of them to win a game in the bottom of the 9th inning.
That's hard to do, walk a guy like that.
That's the Syracuse bullpen, and Mark Olms was the guy warming up. 3 balls and a strike to Manny Alexander. He has not been hit by a pitch in 3 years of pro ball. Always seems to get out of the way. He's got those great reflexes.
Yeah, he's got to be quick as a cat.
Swinging on 3-1 and a leadoff base hit for Manny Alexander. Determined not to walk.
That's right. That's another way the game has changed a little bit in the last 20 years or so. Used to be you're behind in the ball game late in the game. You know, you'd be taking a strike right there, but Alexander 3-1, he got what he liked, drives it into center field, and the leadoff man, the tying run on for the Red Wings here in the 8th.
Take a look at the swing by Manny Alexander. He goes down to get it. Guides it right over the bag at second. Now the Chiefs have to be wary of the 2 guys involved right now. Alexander on board, Buford at the plate. The throw to first almost surprised Domingo Martinez. He was not holding on the runner and had to hustle to get back there and take that throw.
Well, a lot of times those left-handed pitchers will give you that little balk move over to first base to see if the batter will tip off whether he's going to be bunting or not. That time Buford didn't tip anything off. That old baseball adage, you play for the tie at home and the win on the road. Let's see what Bobby Missick's going to do here, whether he's going to let Buford swing away or if he's going to have him bunt. And maybe he'll even have him hit and run. These guys can both move.
A little slap and run never hurt anybody. Count is 1-0 to Damon Buford, and Damon does not go to the right side of the infield all that well quite yet. As we mentioned earlier, he does fancy himself a guy that has occasional power, and a guy with his speed trying to pull the ball all the time. That's something that I know the Orioles would like to see him get away from. Try to use the whole field.
Sure, you know, here's a guy that's 5'10", 170 pounds. Speed's his game. He's, you know, he doesn't have to hit 15, 18 home runs a year.
Probably the worst thing that could have happened for Damon Buford did. He went up to the big leagues and hit 2 home runs in his first 4 games. So now how do you convince a guy that he's not supposed to hit home runs?
Yeah, there's a guy that hit 2 home runs all last year. He hits 2 in 1 week, and all of a sudden he's going to be Hercules.
Once again, Alexander back in. It's a 3-2 lead for Syracuse in the top of the 8th. These Rochester Red Wings are trying to hang on to their position in first place in the IL East. This is a big ball game for them. Ford very concerned with Manny Alexander. He is 12 of 16 stealing this year, and 2 of the 4 caught stealings have actually been on pickoffs. You see Manny.
Yeah, he's back easily. So he's got him figured out pretty good.
Keep in mind, Monzon, the catcher's got a great arm. There's the push bunt. And covering over there is the second baseman for the out. The sacrifice has dropped down, and well, if it wasn't for Montalvo scooting over there to cover, that's an infield bunt base hit for Buford. Alexander there at second base. Very happy to be there, of course.
Yeah, that was a good bunt right there. Gets the ball out in front. He gets the bat out in front of home plate. Pushes the ball down the first base side. With a man on first, you want to make the first baseman field the ball because he can't leave too early, because you saw the pickoff throws going over there, so he can't leave early and cheat in. Make him field it, which is exactly what he did. Through to first. Retires the batter runner Buford, but Alexander moves into scoring position.
And with Alexander's speed, yeah, base hit here by Hinzo or by the next guy, Randy Reddy, ties the score. 3-2 Chiefs right now. We're in the 8th. Conversation will go on now between Monzon and Ward. Certainly you don't figure that Alexander's going to even be thinking about stealing third base, but stranger things have happened with Manny, who's usually got the green light, but I'm sure in this situation he's got to check in with Bob Missick first.
Yeah, a lot of times you get the good jump, you think you can make it, you take it, especially with only 1 out. Got a pretty good lead.
Again, the matters are complicated because of the guy behind the plate, Jose Monzon.
Yeah.
Bouncing foul by Hinzo to go behind in the count 0-1.
Well, Josh, you see Rochester all the time. Hinzo, better left-handed hitter, right-handed hitter?
Better from this side, hitting righty against the lefties.
And you'd think maybe, you know, Bob Didier, he might want to go get that right-hander because you got the right-hander Randy Reddy on deck. I think if he gets this guy out right here, he will go to the right-hander to face Reddy.
Big pitch for a strike as Ward goes ahead 0-2. Tommy Hinzo, who played last year in Mexico. Really like that last call too much. Hinzo had 80 stolen bases for Yucatan last year. He's got 24 for the Wings here in '93. Quinlan will hold the runner. And the second out of the inning in the books. Hinzo with 2 strikes on him had to go out and get that one for fear that it might have been called a third strike. And as you called it, Duke, it'll be a right-hander coming on to face Randy Reddy. Bob Didier, he is out to the mound, and you would think he's going to make the move to go get Mark Olms, who'd be pitching for the 3rd night in a row for Syracuse. Olms in yesterday's game.
Well, he's got the option. Excuse me, Josh. He does have the option here of pitching Randy Reddy very carefully. He does have first base open. Of course, you don't want to put the go-ahead run on, but you got a left-hander on deck. Yeah, Mark Leonard. So we'll see how he goes about it. It's one of those situations where don't walk him, but don't give him anything good to hit. You know, one of those deals.
They will leave the lefty out there because, yeah, like you said, you've got Leonard and Martinez coming up behind Reddy. And they're actually going to pitch so carefully to Randy Reddy that they're going to put him on.
Boy, this is a gutsy move right here. You're putting the leading run on in the 8th inning.
To get to a guy that hit a home run last inning.
Gutsy move by Bob Didier, going a little bit against the percentages or the usual baseball logic, perhaps.
There is Mark Leonard, who will come up next. He's the guy that blasted the 2-run home run last inning. But again, the lefty against lefty scenario, attractive for Bob Didier apparently. They will pitch around Randy Reddy to get to Leonard. Once again, a base hit ties the game, and all of a sudden extra bases gives Rochester the lead.
Yeah, extra bases in this ballpark, definitely in the gaps, because, you know, it is so big out there. 400 in both, you know, alleys, and guy hits a ball 400 feet. You'd think a guy would score from first on that.
There is that tying man, Manny Alexander. see on the right side of your screen Randy Reddy, who's also got good speed. Bob Didier, who has put in a pretty good catcher tonight, Jose Monzon. He was a pretty good catcher in his day, was Bob Didier. Once threw out Lou Brock twice in one game when he played for the Atlanta Braves, did Bob Didier. Leonard takes low for a ball.
A pretty good breaking ball right there. Ward wanted that one.
Huffing and puffing time for Mark Leonard. Crunch time for a pretty decent hitter at this level. Leonard was a .300 hitter in the Pacific Coast League last year and also saw some time with the parent San Francisco Giants. Leonard just missed extra bases. A little cue shot that just about caught chalk. Don't see Leonard going to the opposite field that much, but boy, that time he just about rolled one along the third base line.
That was close. That ball stays fair. Alexander is crossing the bag easy. And Reddy's on his way to third. Leonard probably would have had a double on it because the left fielder had Soho had to go so far to pick that ball up.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And Ward, a guy that has struggled for much of this season, is being relied on a kind of a big situation right here. Another lefty on deck, Cheeto Martinez. Syracuse leading 3-2 because of the 2-out RBI single by Robert Perez in the bottom of the 7th.
Well, now he's ahead in the count. I'm sure Leonard's going to be seeing himself some breaking balls right here.
Fans really wanted that outside corner to expand a bit. It was a pitch that did not miss by much, and you can see Ward is kind of kicking around out there, and Monzon goes out there to plot the 2-2 strategy now.
Now that pitch was, that was probably 6 inches outside. I don't know what Ward wants on that pitch right there. That was a good call by home plate umpire Paul Noward. But it was the breaking ball, and he's probably going to get another one right here. You got another lefty on deck. If you just, if you don't get this guy, you got another shot at it. Don't throw him anything fat.
3 balls and 2 strikes, and danger rings out here because the guys will be on the move. Alexander from second and Randy Reddy from first. So just a base hit certainly ties the game, and a double most certainly now will get Rochester into the lead.
Right, a double in the gap probably would have scored him before. Now with the 3-2 situation, a double in the corner can score him.
Leonard wants to make sure that everything's okay before he gets in a big count. Syracuse has out hit Rochester 8-6. Chiefs trying to make it 2 straight against the Wings. There go the runners. Bases loaded for Rochester. Leonard checking his swing. They had to appeal, going down to Pete Celestino just to make sure. And interesting here, they'll give Cheeto Martinez the chance to hit. They will not pinch hit Mel Waring or any of the other right-hand hitters. I guess Bob Missick figures if he pinch hits a righty, then they'll just go get Mark Holmes at that point. So you might as well get the guy that's got a bit of a home run cut, Cheeto Martinez, in there. But remember, Cheeto is just 1 for his last 30.
Well, I was maybe trying to boost his confidence a little bit right here. He had a pretty good hack right there. But as we mentioned, we thought Leonard would be seeing some curveballs. Once Ward got ahead, a ball and 2 strikes, he threw him 3 consecutive breaking balls and missed outside on all 3 of them. Or if you're going to miss, that's a place to miss. Don't start it inside and break it over the middle of the plate, because those are the ones those left-handers feast on. You got to start it out over the plate and break it away.
1 strike pitch to Martinez. And certainly for a guy like Anthony Ward that has struggled with his control in the past, this is a tough situation for him. Cheeto Martinez, a veteran hitter, won't be swinging at anything silly, you wouldn't think.
Well, that's why, Bobby Missick might have liked this matchup a little bit better than the righty-righty matchup, figuring he might struggle a little bit with his control. But right there, he's ahead of count again. A ball and 2 strikes as Martinez goes after one, but draws air.
Tying man at third for Rochester. We're in the 8th inning. Here's a pitch of the ball game so far. Chance for Zosky.
Nice play.
And he saves it for Syracuse. behind the bag, and the Chiefs still lead. That one gets up the middle. It is 4-3 Red Wings, but Zosky with the range goes over there and takes care of business.
That's a big league play right there. Zosky behind the bag. He saves at least one run, maybe two. Throws a strike. Nice play by Eddie Zosky, showing some serious range.
And the Chiefs lead it going to the bottom of the 8th, 3-2.
Hello, I'm Robert Rogers. I'm the new owner of Camden Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Eagle.
Like you, I was a car consumer just a few short months ago, so I understand the incentive of driving a few miles to save money. But why spend an hour to car shop in the north? Just invest 40 minutes and come to Camden for great deals you can trust. For example, a 1993 Dodge Intrepid, $16,591.
We don't want to be the biggest, just the best.
It's a fitness thing! It's a competitive thing!
It's a results thing.
Speed thing! A team thing! A race walking thing! A social thing!
It's Central New York Running, presented by Dick's Clothing and Sporting Goods, Reebok, and Incredimeal. Tuesdays at 8:30 and Fridays at 7, all season long on Cable 13.
New York! Running's great for the whole community.
Syracuse hangs on to the lead because of a gold star play by Eddie Zosky, going behind the bag at second and bailing out Anthony Ward. It is a 3-2 score. The Chiefs will now send Tom Quinlan to the plate to get this inning going against Mike Cook. Cook was the guy that allowed the Chiefs to retake the lead in the bottom of the 7th inning, giving up a single to Perez. Just wide of the line for a foul ball. It's 0-1 on Tom Quinlan. Quinlan tonight 0 for 3. Well, Rochester really scrapping there in the 8th inning, loading the bases with 2 out. As it turns out, that move to intentionally walk Randy Reddy just might have panned out for Syracuse. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count now on Tom Quinlan. They ended up walking Reddy to get to Leonard. Leonard walked, but Cheeto Martinez down on the count 1-2, hit one that might have squeaked up the middle were it not for Eddie Zosky going there to get it. Now Manny Alexander waiting on it. And across to Carey for the out. It'll bring up Willie Canate. We look ahead to the Rochester 9th. It'll be Smith, Carey, and Zaun due up, 6, 7, 8 in the order.
Your attention, fans. Pitch hitting for Willie Canate, number 23.
There's Manny Alexander, who just made that play cross diamond. We got a pinch hitter now for the Syracuse Chiefs. Looks like Ray Gianelli is going to come up there and hit instead of Julian Yan. Gianelli having a career year with 10 home runs. Worm burner to second base. Gianelli is out, but still probably a pretty happy camper. The story on Gianelli, his dad 2 years ago won the New York State Lottery. Won $2 million. That's something. Quit his job and he retired to coach Little League, just like they say in the commercial.
Your attention, fans.
You gotta love it.
Number 12, Domingo Cedeno.
We get another pinch hitter now. Domingo Cedeno will step in. I'm sure we'll get into the ball game, stay in the ball game, that is, as a middle infielder, playing either second or short when we get going to the 9th. Cook came right at Cedeno, and that certainly is ball 1.
Well, once again, this is the advantage that Bob Didier has. He can go to his left-handed lineup now, and he doesn't have to worry about Bobby Missick retaliating with a left-handed man out of the bullpen. He doesn't have one down there.
If he wants to, he can pinch hit for Jose Monzon next. He's got a lefty swinging catcher, Gregg O'Halloran, that he could use. Although I'm sure with the Chiefs up by just a run, you want the
defensive stud in there.
Yeah, you want that guy Monzon throwing out base runners. Cedeno missing on a ball headed near the stripe at first base. It's 2-1.
Also got Lee Stevens available should he need him.
Big tidy hop for Manny Alexander, and Mike Cook sets him down in order. He's retired 4 in a row after giving up that single to Robert Perez that put the Chiefs into the lead. And now it's the last chance for Rochester. Syracuse up 3-2 on Empire Sports Network.
Wegmans and Cable 13 have a cool answer to hot Chiefs baseball. During games on Cable 13, one player will win Wegmans WPOP Pop of the Game. Wegmans will then donate $100 to the Red Cross in that player's name. For our viewers, we'll draw a winning entry for 5 cases of WPOP. Send in a postcard with this info. Watch the Chiefs on Cable 13. Stay cool with the taste of WPOP. It's dynamite.
This is it, top of the 9th inning. Syracuse trying to hang on, and an intriguing move right here. Darren Hall, who's emerged as a closer for the Chiefs, he is brought on to face Mark Smith, who homered off of this guy yesterday. So again, Bob Didier plays the percentages and not recent history. He'll go get a righty to face a righty. Domingo Cedeno does stay in the game as the second baseman, by the way. Looks like Montalvo has moved to short. There is Darren Hall. And what he has done this year, you don't see many closers with an ERA in the 6s, but Darren Hall has been getting the job done lately, and he closed it out last night for the Chiefs, pitching 2 innings of relief to beat Rochester. That one, a 1-run effort. Syracuse 6, Rochester 5. Tonight it's the Chiefs 3 and the Red Wings 2. Here you see Domingo Cedeno taking over at second. He was a pinch hitter. Actually, that will be Zosky staying at shortstop. It's Cedeno at second. That's the defensive change here. And Mark Smith gets set to come up for the Red Wings, who already had to rally once in this one tonight. They get a Mark Leonard 2-run home run in the 7th for all of their scoring. And Anthony Ward is on line for the win, having walked 3 in an inning and a third, and also allowing 1 base hit. He tiptoed out of the minefield in the 8th inning. Bases loaded. Cheeto Martinez up there, and a ground ball that looked like it might sneak up the middle was corralled by Zosky. And what probably will stand up as a play of the game if the Wings do not rally here.
Oh, absolutely. That was very key defensive play right there by Eddie Zosky going behind the bag. But it just shows you there's no justice in this world. Tim Brown going 6 2/3, doesn't walk anybody. Does a great job. Ward comes in 1 1/3. He got the big out when he needed to in the 7th and the 8th, but Zosky kind of bailed him out a little bit in the 8th as he got himself in a little bit of a jam with a walk. But right now it's up to Mr. Hall.
Mark Smith surprising the third baseman Quinlan by showing bunt, and Hall is behind in the count 1-0.
Well, that's not a bad idea. Make him move in a step or two, and he's got a little bit better chance to drive it by him.
Mark Smith 2 for 3 in this one. And the strike in there to even the count. Yesterday, Smith hit one of the longer home runs we've seen from him this season off of Darren Hall. That was in the 8th inning to bring the Wings to within a run. That's as close as the Rochester team would get. First year of AAA ball for Mark Smith. He was a AAA All-Star this year at the midpoint.
Look out.
It plunks him. Hall lets one get away, and the tying man is on. The go-ahead run at the plate now, and Paul Carey. Now, Carey is not exactly an accomplished bunter, and it'll be interesting to see if he tries to lay one down or not. Here's Smith wincing and not able to avoid the contact there as it came right up at him.
Well, there's just ball just runs right in on him. He's got no chance to get away from it, but right there you got the tying run on base. He'll take a little bruise to get himself on right here. He'll take one for the ball club. It's easy for me to say up here, but
yeah,
but that's what you really got to do, actually. Any way to get yourself on, and he wasn't exactly way out in front in the count, so hey.
We saw Eddie Zosky doing the same thing when Mike Cook came into the ball game for Rochester. Remember, he hit Zosky to get to Perez, and that's what ended up giving Syracuse the lead.
Now there's nobody out and throwing in the bullpen. This is going to be Hall's game to win or lose right here.
First baseman Paul Carey.
Now the Wings sacrificed last inning to get the tying man to second base, and that strategy ended up not working. The Wings did not score in the 8th. Let's see if Carey is called on to bunt. Guy that has tried to bunt only twice this year and has not had a sacrifice yet. He bangs it to right field instead. This one going towards the gap. It keeps on rolling. And rolling around is Mark Smith. He's coming to the plate. And Carey is digging for third. And he's going to make it to third base with a triple. How about that? No bunt at all. Paul Carey instead rakes it to the alley in right center.
Well, right there, Bobby Missick going on that old theory. You play for the tie at home and the win on the road, especially with a big left-handed power hitter like Carey up here. You know, I didn't think he'd be bunting, and right there he just drives one over the second baseman Cedeno's head. He hit that ball so hard it did get through the gap, roll all the way to the wall. By the time they chase it down, Smith scoring easily, and big Paul Carey's diving into third base with a triple. Now you got the go-ahead run here on third with nobody out in the top of the ninth.
And it is Gregg Zaun at the plate right now. Bouncing ball, and the runner has to hold. That's a big play by Domingo Martinez as he corralled that ball. If he bobbles it, Carey's got a chance to sneak on home, but there's a very important first out. Zaun going after the very first pitch.
Well, I'll tell you what, Domingo Martinez, he wasn't playing very shallow either. I'm surprised that maybe Carey didn't give it a run there at home, but you know, being a big guy probably doesn't run all that well, and Martinez did, as you mentioned, field it cleanly, and he was looking all the way at the plate. Carey held. There's still only one out now.
Well, the infield is into the grass for Syracuse. Manny Alexander's a pretty good bunter. There's only one out in the inning. I suppose that is a possibility from the outside here.
I'm a little bit surprised that Martinez was playing as deep as he was at first base. That's the, that's the go-ahead run, but right, eventually could be the, winning run here in the ninth.
Zaun hammering after that first pitch. Boy, it really didn't give any time at all for Carey really to even think about what he was going to do.
That's all right. Carey jumped on that first one too and jumped on it pretty good. You get one you like, nothing to wait on there with the go ahead run out.
Hall takes care of Alexander. How do you like that? Darren Hall gets a couple of infield outs, and all of a sudden Damon Buford has got to come up with a base hit to get Rochester the lead. You thought it was a foregone conclusion. Runner at third, nobody out, but Zaun goes after the first pitch and knocks one over to first base. Carey holding on that play, and even though Hall bobbled that one, he was able to recover and throw out Manny Alexander. So now it's a base hit needed from Damon Buford.
Well, you knew Alexander wasn't going to wait around too long. As you mentioned, he hasn't walked in a month. Well, this is big right here. The guy on third, nobody out. They got to be able to push him in here.
And Hall rings in the strike.
It's going to take a 2-out hit to do it, though. It's going to have to be Damon Buford coming up with a clutch at bat.
You were looking for Zaun or Alexander just to put the ball into the air to the outfield. That would have broken the tie, but both guys bouncing to the infield. This one hovering. Domingo Martinez chasing, might have a play. No, he doesn't. Up into the second row.
Easy, big fella. Big as he is, I thought he was going to move that tarp all by himself there.
He could have just run over to the corner of it and just kind of swung it around a little bit. Boy, Buford now down on the count 0-2, and what a comeback by Darren Hall in this inning.
Yeah, Hall, he's got a little bit of a deceiving motion there. All of a sudden, it's like he just slings the ball, almost like slingshots. And once he gets up to the top of the release point, makes it tough to pick up a little bit.
Buford to left field, and going back on it is Luis Sojo. He makes the catch. Almost up over his head. But Darren Hall with a runner at third and nobody out keeps the game tied. The Wings have to settle for a 3-3 situation, and the Chiefs can now win it in the bottom of the ninth.
We're gonna cheer, cheer, cheer for the Chiefs. We're gonna swing for the seats, 'cause they play real pretty in the old Salt City. Gonna rock them down to the cleats. We're gonna cheer for the Chiefs.
Hey, summer in Syracuse means Chiefs baseball. Great family fun at affordable price for the whole family. Come on out to Big Mac and
cheer for the Chiefs.
What's that on the TV?
You broke it. You broke it with that remote thing.
It's words.
Always changing and changing.
It says something.
So read it already.
It's too small. I need my glasses.
You're wearing your glasses.
Ah, that's better. Large print books at the library.
I knew that.
From when?
From my last visit.
Romance, mystery, thrill.
Yeah, you should bring some home.
Maybe I'll bring you a cookbook.
What's that?
You broke it again. That's better.
Syracuse can win it here with one in the bottom of the ninth. And hey, Bills fans, Empire Sports Network has an exciting fall lineup in store for you. Beginning in September, don't miss the premieres of the Marv Levy Show, the Frank Reich Show, the Don Beebe Show, plus the return of the Thurman Thomas Show. This fall, Empire Sports Network brings the Bills home to you. We will get a pinch hitter who is arriving right now via jet. Greg O'Halloran flown in especially for this occasion. Another lefty that can come in and get working for Bob Didier's Syracuse Chiefs. They went with the all right-hand hitting lineup against John O'Donohue, but now that Mike Cook is out there, here comes a parade of lefties. O'Halloran against Cook in the bottom of the ninth inning. And Cook drops behind early. There you see what O'Halloran's done this year. And Mike Cook, who struggled with the control this season, cannot afford to put the winning run on base here in the ninth inning. Syracuse, a team that is so well schooled in the fundamentals, you figure if a guy gets on, no doubt they'll bunt him along. And an important strike in here from Mike Cook.
Yeah, very important. O'Halloran, he's taking all the way on that one. Chiefs trying to get the leadoff man on here in the bottom of the ninth. Darren Hall really wriggled his way out of a jam in the top of the ninth.
Little check swing foul off the bat of O'Halloran. By the way, O'Halloran this year 3 for 4 against Mike Cook. So this is a pretty good move to get O'Halloran in there from own zone.
You know, and don't think these guys don't know it too. You know, when you're a hitter, you know who you hit well, and you got confidence against the guy. O'Halloran, you'll be looking for something you can drive right here.
But instead, a nasty slider from Mike Cook.
Well, that was a nasty pitch right there, right in under the hands. O'Halloran, no chance on that one. That was a tough pitch by Cook.
Well, we mentioned everything he throws has some sort of motion, some sort of sailing movement on it, and
O'Halloran thought he was going to get the fastball right there. It looks like, you know, that slider all of a sudden explodes down and in on you, and you don't have a chance.
Third baseman Randy Reddy plays in near the grass for Rochester with Sean Scott up there.
I'd say Reddy's trying to take the bunt away. First and third baseman guarding the lines against any doubles now.
And Sean Scott ahead in the count 2-0. Scott with the 2 singles tonight. And we mentioned last year he helped bring the Red Wings down. He kept them out of the playoffs with a run-producing triple. Second to last game of the season. That knocked Rochester out of the playoffs.
Well, you know, the first and third baseman are taking the double away right here, but if the pitcher walks a guy, he might be walking a double with Scott's speed. He stole second base last time. Oh, sawed him off.
Tommy Henzo throws him out, and again, that's a tough thing to be hitting Mike Cook when that breaking stuff is working and that hard fastball is diving in.
Left fielder Luis.
That's a tough pitch right there. Really jammed him on that one. Henzo made a good play. Got a good break on the ball and came in and got it on one hop rather than letting it hit the second time and maybe playing him. He charged it. He knows that Scott runs well and made a nice little play there.
Here is Luis Soho. He has doubled and tripled. He has scored twice. And again, Cook cannot get strike one.
Well, it hasn't hurt him yet, but you don't want to be pitching behind all these guys. I'll tell you that right now.
Once again, it's 2-0. Eddie Zosky would bat next. Rochester and Syracuse tied up 3-3 in the ninth. Once again, he's able to shave that corner, and Mike Cook, he'll toy with you a little bit.
That was a quality pitch right there with 2 balls, no strikes. Painted the black.
And now 3-1 on Luis Soho. We saw Soho go deep yesterday. Again, he has doubled and tripled in this one tonight.
You mentioned that ball is moving all over the place. Right there, that was just like a fastball. It looked like a cut fastball. And Zaun barely got a tip of his glove on it. That ball just, in the last 6 inches, really ran away on him, and he barely got a piece of that ball. That wasn't that far out of the strike zone.
Manny Alexander waits on it. And guess what? We got extra innings here. Mike Cook is now set down 7 in a row. And we're going to play the 10th. Rochester and Syracuse, 3-3 on Empire Sports Network.
Is life uneventful? Are you bored, stiff? Do you feel like you're living in the 17th century? Check out Weekender on Cable 13. Host Lorraine Rapp gives some great tips on things to do and see around Central New York. So don't be bored on the weekends. Check out Weekender every Monday at 7 p.m. and Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. only on Cable 13.
Get ready for game time. The Mets are on WWOR EMI service. If you're a transplanted New Yorker or a baseball believer, a loyal Mets fan, or a big little leaguer, you won't want to miss a pitch of the New York Mets on WWOR EMI service. At home and on the road, your team plays here. The New York Mets on WWOR EMI service. What to watch when you love the game.
Well, the Chiefs were within 3 outs of winning this one in regulation, but ball carried, tripling home Mark Smith in the top of the 9th inning, and here it was. Carey jumping on the delivery by Darren Hall, and as it gets down into that big spacious alley in right center, Carey went all the way to third, and you really figured the Wings had it locked up in terms of going ahead in this ball game. Here's Bob Missick waving in Mark Smith to tie the game.
And really, that wasn't a bad pitch. That ball was down and away. And Carey got those big arms extended and just drilled it in the gap. As you mentioned, a man on third, nobody out. That's just about, you know, to wiggle out of a jam like that, that happens, what, maybe 10% of the time, if that much.
So really a very eventful inning for Darren Hall. He hit Mark Smith to set it up. Carey triples him home, and then Zaun bounces out, Alexander bounces out, and Buford hits one away as to left, but Soho goes back and takes it.
And Buford hit that ball right on the button.
2-3-4 in the order up for Rochester now. And here is Hinzo taking a strike. Tommy Hinzo 0 for 4 in this one. He is just 1 for 9 in the series. Hinzo has the speed to lay one down and beat one out if he desires, but he's cutting away and he's down 0-2.
Pretty good movement on that fastball too, tailing down and away from Hinzo.
Paul did the job on Hinzo yesterday in a big situation late in the game with that same pitch. Hard fastball, hard slider from this guy, and if he can get him over the plate, he's a tough guy to hit.
Yeah, that's a big if. That's a key. There's a lot of guys that, you know, they can really bring it, but you know, you fall behind guys, and that's going to hurt you. You got to be able to throw strikes.
Goes from 0-2 to 2-2 here on Tommy Hinzo.
A couple perfect examples this year for Buffalo. They had Joel Johnston, who started the season with an ERA of about 17. He couldn't throw the ball over the plate. He threw 4 wild pitches in an inning and a third. He walked a bunch of guys. Put him on the DL to straighten him out. Guy came back, started doing a good job. Now he's doing a good job for the Pirates. Darrell Irvin also had a problem with control. And these guys got great arms. It's just you got to be able to throw strikes.
Domingo Cedeno takes care of Tommy Hinzo, who's now 0 for 5 tonight. Now it's Randy Reddy that'll come up in a 3-3 game, 10th inning. The Rochester Red Wings are at home Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and the Syracuse Chiefs will be home this coming Thursday and Friday. A chance to come out and see these hometown teams. Foul ball by Reddy.
Yeah, Syracuse going to take off for Scranton for a couple of days. Huh? Nice little ballpark down there.
And certainly not too far away. Just a quick shot down I-81 from here in Syracuse.
Well, that's a nice thing about the International League. You can get some trips in here and see some of these ball clubs. Boy, the American Association is pretty spread out.
Nice pitch from Hall, makes it 0-2. Yeah, this Eastern Division, with the exception of Pawtucket, boy, you start in Syracuse, you're certainly commutable to Rochester, Ottawa, and Scranton. And really out to Pawtucket, which is just outside of Providence, Rhode Island. That's not much more than a 5-hour bus trip either. So Syracuse right in the middle of the division geographically, but they're on the bottom of the division with a 46-68 record. Once again, from 0-2 to 2-2 on a batter goes Hall. Well, the Chiefs may not have the best record in the league, but they've been playing some exciting ball games. This one here tonight, no exception. Little dribbler, and it's up to the pitcher to get over there and cover. Very close play, as it turns out. Reddy is retired for the second out. Reddy really hustled out of there, didn't he?
He certainly did. You know, he's a veteran ball player. You know, he could have just as easily loafed down the line, but he busted his butt all the way down there. Domingo Martinez, you know, he likes to roam around a little bit over there. Usually, you know, on a slow hit ball like that, a lot of times you let the second baseman take it and you hold the bag, because it's a lot easier for you to get there and throw the ball on the run. The pitcher going full speed. He just barely beat him.
Mark Leonard will step in. He hit a 2-run home run earlier tonight. At the time, it tied the game 2-2.
That's one of those plays, Josh. You work on that play in spring training, day in and day out. If you're a first baseman, if you have a buck for every time you work on that play, you'll be retiring shortly.
That was very well done, though, right there between Martinez and Hall.
And, you know, you get down in spring training and you got these guys hitting the fungos. Well, you got a first baseman down there and you got 10 pitchers. Well, you know, they're doing 1, you're doing 10. Every time they come back to the front of the line, that's 10 for you, that's 1 for them. You know?
Boy, Reddy really did make it a close play over there, too. We saw it on the replay a few moments ago, and Reddy was coming right down with that cleat right over top of the base when Hall touched up. 1-2, the count on Leonard. And since that triple allowed by Hall to Paul Carey, it's been 5 in a row set down by this right-hander.
And Carey, he got to give him credit for that. He went out and hit a good pitch.
Leonard down on strikes. And Hall really picking it up a notch here. He gets through the 10. And Syracuse will come up in the bottom of the inning with a chance to win it against Mike Cook. We are tied 3-3 on Empire Sports Network.
At Syracuse Ladder and Scaffolding, there's more to us than just our name. We provide a wide range of products and services to fulfill all your contracting needs. We offer an extensive inventory of parts and supplies, plus a complete line of construction equipment, along with job site delivery and repairs. For service that's a step above the rest, stop by our showroom or call for more information. Syracuse Ladder and Scaffolding, all your contracting needs from a single source.
I am very particular in the type of music I listen to.
I'm a music person. I love my music.
We're talking about wall-to-wall, back-to-back music.
The quality is absolutely perfect.
It's just real convenient. You always have something to listen to.
You have access to an infinite variety of excellent sound.
If you are that kind of music lover, digital cable radio is definitely for you.
Call Adelphia Cable to order digital cable radio, 474-4444.
Mike Cook has already gone 2 1/3 innings for Rochester in relief, and now comes out to pitch the 10th. It'll be 2-3-4 in the order coming up for the Syracuse Chiefs, who are trying to sweep this very brief 2-game series. They won yesterday 6-5. It is a 3-3 tie tonight, bottom of the 10th. Here is Eddie Zosky, who made a fantastic play back in the 8th inning with the bases loaded. A foul ball blasted back off the press box. It's 0-1. Broadcasters are cowering underneath their table.
Look out. Watch your lips over there.
Zosky takes one the other way foul. It's 0-2.
Our cameraman almost got that one.
Well, he's so hard at work over there. You know, he's gotten so focused in on following the flight of the baseball. He followed that one all the way up to the old cranium.
Nice save. And a beauty.
Yeah, Zosky making sure that we're staying awake here.
A little action out in the Chiefs bullpen.
And once again, they've got Olms up and throwing. It's the third time they've had him up tonight. 1 ball, 2 strikes now on Zosky. And if Olms does get in, that'll be the 3rd straight night that he comes in a ball game.
I'd say he's loose.
Zosky to right with it, but Mark Smith is right there too. And pockets it for the first out. Here's the guy that's got to scare Mike Cook, the guy coming up right now, Robert Perez. Perez is 5 for 6 against Mike Cook this season now, having given the Chiefs a lead with a single back in the 7th. 5 for 6. That's not too shabby.
I'd say he's had some success with him.
Perez, a guy that can hit a long ball too. Paints it on that outside corner. Nice job by Cook to get ahead.
Yeah, Perez, he was taking that one all the way. He was kind of backing out as the pitch was on its way toward the plate. Tough play.
Alexander. Not in time, and boy, what a play just to get there. Carey with a nice job to keep it in front of him. Now the ball getting away. Perez is running to second base. Perez is... Now hang on, Mike Cook is holding the baseball. Perez is at second base. Here's Bob Missick out of the dugout. It looks like Perez has just stolen one on Rochester.
Well, we're just going to see if timeout had been called. If there was no timeout, it's a great play by Robert Perez.
Here's Bob Missick to talk it over with Pete Celestino, the base umpire.
Boy, that was an outstanding defensive play right there by Manny Alexander. You mentioned he got to the ball, which showed good range, but he got rid of it so quickly. And there's Bingo Long said, no, there's no timeout.
Unbelievable. What a play by Perez. He hustles into second base as he catches the Red Wings' Paul Carey napping.
Caught me napping too. I was writing it down in my scorebook here. Let's take another look at it right here. He gets jammed on the pitch. Doesn't hit it very hard. It's in the hole. Now, Manny, watch him get rid of this ball. That's unbelievable how much zip he gets on it. Going away from the first baseman. He one-hops it. Perez beats it out. And then apparently, thinking there was a timeout call, Cook's walking around on the mound, and Perez, he scoots down to second base.
And here's Martinez, who can win it with a base hit. It was Carey just kind of lobbing the ball back to Cook. Time was never called, and Cook turning away from Perez, and Perez just motored onto second base. It's basically an infield double, if you want to think of it that way.
Well, that's really a heads-up play by a rookie.
And the Syracuse Chiefs, who once again look like they're out of the playoffs. They're out there playing very hard. What a great play by Perez to sneak into second base.
2-0. I don't see Domingo Martinez getting much to hit right here with first base open. And now it's 3 balls, no strikes. You might as well just go ahead and put him on, or else throw him a slider about a foot outside and hope he swings at it.
You've got Tom Quinlan, who's due up next. That is ball 4, so the Chiefs with that winning run at second, and Martinez doesn't mean a thing at first.
That's your basic unintentional, intentional walk right there. There is no way in the world they were going to give this guy anything he could hit.
Looks like we might get a pinch hitter. Lee Stevens is available, and Lee Stevens will come out of the dugout to pinch hit for Tom Quinlan. And again, as Duke has been mentioning tonight, the Wings do not have a lefty in the bullpen, so it's Stevens up against a right-hander that's got to be getting a little bit tired. Mike Cook is used to pitching maybe 2/3 of an inning, or even an inning and 2/3 in an outing. He's into a 3rd inning of work here. Lee Stevens, a powerful guy, wins the ball game here with a base hit deep to the outfield.
Well, Bob Missick's, his hands are really tied. Without having that left-hander in the bullpen, you can just, there's no way around it now. He's got, you can't walk the guy to put, the go-ahead or the winning run down on third base. Now you got a guy right here who's a very, very dangerous left-hand hitter, and you can't counter. Your hands are tied.
Syracuse in a position to win this one because of, ironically enough, the base running of Robert Perez. He ran them out of a ball game just a couple nights ago, was responsible for that 434-foot single by Domingo Martinez. There's a pitch too low to Stevens. Perez was much of the reason that the Chiefs were here after the game, working on their base running with the powers that be. They had a base running drill after a tough loss. Perez, one of the guys that messed up that night, and he right here has the Chiefs in a position to win because of his base running. It is 2-0 on Stevens on deck. Is Ray Gianelli, and here's Bob Missick to the mound to try to settle down Mike Cook. Don Schultze is up in the bullpen now for the Wings.
Well, the last time I was here back on July 18th, Lee Stevens came up to the plate with a tie-in run on third base and 2 down. A 1-0 ball game that Norfolk pulled out, but Stevens had the count 3 balls, no strikes on him, and they gave him the green light, and he hit an absolute P right at the left fielder. I mean, he hit a screamer, and the pitch was a little bit out of the strike zone. He expanded his strike zone a little bit because he wanted to drive in that tie-in run so bad. He hit a, he just sculled one right at the left fielder.
Syracuse trying to steal one away from Rochester here. Remember, the Wings had tied it in the 9th. They had a runner at third and nobody out and did not score. Now Syracuse with a chance to win in the bottom of the 10th because of the daring base running of Robert Perez.
That could be 2.
Alexander to Hinzo for 1, and the Wings turn it. How about that? Missick goes to the mound to settle down Cook and says, how about a nice double play ball to Manny Alexander? And that's exactly what they get.
I'll tell you what, 2-0, he gets in on his fists, and Stevens bounces into a double play. I would have bet against that.
On to the 11th. We are tied at 3.
We're gonna cheer, cheer, cheer for the Chiefs. We're gonna swing for the seats, 'cause they play real pretty in the old South City. Gonna rock them down to the cleats. We're gonna cheer for the Chiefs.
Hey, summer in Syracuse means Chiefs baseball. Great family fun at affordable price for the whole family. Come on out to Big Mac and
cheer for the Chiefs.
Both teams staying out of the way of some bullets here of the last part of the ball game to get us all the way to the 11th inning. And for the 3rd consecutive game, Mark Olms will come on to pitch for Syracuse in relief. He's the only guy in the league whose last name doubles as a mantra. Mark Olms. And for the season, Mark Olms, a 5.96 ERA. Turned in a scoreless 7th inning in yesterday's game. After losing a game on Friday night here against the Richmond Braves, he served up a home run to Brian Hunter. And it's Cheeto Martinez to lead off. Cheeto's slump is now down to 1 for 31. But always a power threat.
Yep, you took the words right out of my mouth there, Josh. No matter what he is, 1 for 31 or 1 for 131, with one swing of the bat, he can get you a run. So a threat anytime he comes to the plate.
Made somebody's day with a foul ball right there.
I'll tell you what, that baby was up there too.
That's called getting under one. Olms to Martinez. And another foul ball. It's 0-2. Again, it's been a tough season for this guy, Cheeto Martinez. What with the injured leg and not really getting an opportunity to play in Baltimore earlier this year. Another drive foul. It's still 0-2. Top farm clubs of the Blue Jays and the Orioles going at it, and for that reason alone, that makes it very exciting because those two major league teams have certainly become fierce rivals. The rivalry has always been here between Rochester and Syracuse. The home plates of the two ballparks only 83 miles away from each other. Rochester and Syracuse used to hook up all the way back in the 1880s. Rivalry has kept on going all the way into the 1990s. Strike three to Cheeto Martinez. Good pitch from Mark Holmes, freezing Cheeto.
Exactly right. Threw the breaking ball. He just locked up there and couldn't pull the trigger.
Right fielder Mark Smith.
Remember, it's Gregg Zaun now doing the catching for Syracuse, and here's Cheeto Martinez saying, come on. But it was strike three, and Mark Smith will be the batter. We mentioned that Gregg Zaun is now doing the catching. He's thrown out 22% of attempted base stealers this year. The guy that he came on for, Jose Monzon, had thrown out 51%. Another breaking pitch for a strike from Holmes.
Yeah, you know, 51% is unbelievable. You get up to, you know, if you're around 38 or 40, that's pretty darn good. But you're at 50. Huh, that's another league right there.
Mark Holmes started this year for Syracuse and then spent some time down at AA, came back and has been doing a nice job. Mark Smith with a couple of hits tonight. Chasing that one, he's now down in the count 1-2, and Bob Missick showing he can still pick it over there at third base, even if it is in a coaching box.
I saw him take some wicked shots off his chest down at third base at the old rock pile. Old War Memorial Stadium in Buffalo. He took his lumps over there. And he always came back for more.
Down goes Mark Smith. And the night really not going well at all. He couldn't even catch the bat as he tried to fire it into that other hand as he stepped out in frustration. So Holmes apparently not really that tired, having pitched 3 nights in a row. He strikes out the first 2 guys he faces tonight. And there's Mark Smith. Ah, get out of here, bat.
Yeah, it's the bat's fault, big guy.
Here's Paul Carey, who had the triple in the 9th inning to tie the score. Then he withered away at third base. Breaking pitch for a strike. Holmes is just zooming everything right in there.
That's a good pitch, right in on the hands.
Paul Carey with that very weathered batting helmet. Likes that helmet. It says it makes him look mean.
Those 2 breaking balls were pretty mean right there. Jumps out in front 0-2.
3 lefties due up for Syracuse in the 11th. We are tied 3-3. Carey stays alive. Paul has already struck out a couple times in this one. He walked in the 7th and that big triple in the 9th. It's amazing that Darren Hall was able to squeak his way out of trouble. Runner at third, nobody out. Couple ground balls and a flyout. The chance at third base for Gianelli. Into the game for Quinlan. Low throw, but Martinez on the bag. And Holmes sets him down in order. The Chiefs can win it in the 11th this time. And heading there on Empire Sports Network, our score, Rochester 3 and Syracuse 3.
Hello, I'm Robert Rogers. I'm the new owner of Camden Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Eagle.
Like you, I was a car consumer just a few short months ago, so I understand the incentive of driving a few miles to save money. But why spend an hour to car shop in the north? Just invest 40 minutes and come to Camden for great deals you can trust. For example, a 1993 Dodge Intrepid, $16,591.
We don't want to be the biggest, just the best.
It's a business thing! It's a competitive thing!
It's a results thing.
Speed thing! A team thing! A race walking thing! A social thing!
It's Central New York Running, presented by Dick's Clothing and Sporting Goods, Reebok, and Incredimeal. Tuesdays at 8:30 and Fridays at 7, all season long on Cable 13.
Yeah, it's a program, Central New York!
running trait for the whole community.
Bottom of the 11th inning coming. Syracuse will send up the lefties. The three guys that pinch hit at various stages tonight. O'Halloran, or check that, Gianelli, then Cedeno, and then O'Halloran. Against this guy, Anthony Telford. Telford, as you can see, has not had his best of seasons this year, but it's been a tough thing for Anthony with the situation presenting itself in Baltimore. Not a lot of room at the inn up there for Anthony. Fernando Valenzuela made the club, and Jamie Moyer was a surprise. He ended up going up there, and Anthony Telford, by the time he got to Rochester, found that there wasn't even a spot open in the rotation. He had to go to the bullpen, which is something he'd never had to do before, and he has struggled in that role at times.
Yeah, I was just checking there. He's only got 4 starts on the year, and geez, in years past, he's been one of the mainstays out there.
And for Anthony Telford, the real problem this year has been first batter efficiency. This is his 33rd game, so well, let's see, that means he's been in 32 so far. Yes, 32 games, and he's allowed the first batter he's faced to reach base 15 of those 32 times. So
that's,
as a reliever, that obviously is not something you can get away with.
As a reliever, no, that hurts a little bit. That's what back at Buffalo, Mark Dewey, at one point this year, he came in and retired 18 or 19 times in a row. He came in and got the first guy out, which is unbelievable. That's why he's in Pittsburgh now, and they look like they're going to try and make him the closer up there. He's done a pretty good job 2 or 3 times now.
Not a bad pickup for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, I'll say. Well, he's got a good live arm, and the Mets, the way they've struggled, I'm sure they could have used him this season.
Here we go in the last of the 11th with Ray Gianelli batting. Telford missing outside. Gianelli came on as a pinch hitter in the 8th, and he bounced out against Mike Cook. Cook ended up going 3 1/3, allowing just a couple of hits and no runs. Socked foul by Gianelli. It's 1-1. Actually, the 1 run that Cook allowed was not his own. It went to John O'Donohue, who way back when was pitching quite a ball game. No walks and 8 strikeouts into the 7th inning.
Well, this has been a well-pitched ball game. Not many walks, a lot of strikeouts. Really not that many tough plays for outfielders.
Tommy Hinzo with a pick. Nice play to get the first out here in the 11th inning. Hinzo made some magical plays for Rochester all year, and that's a ball that really took off on him, but was able to reach out and take care of it for the out.
It was a hard hit ball to his left. He showed he still has very good range. Went over there, made the play, made it look awful easy, didn't he? Or was it tougher play than it looked?
Now Domingo Cedeno leads the league with 10 triples this year. And playing at this ballpark, it's a very conducive ballpark to doubles and triples with the alleys in left center and right center.
Yeah, if you can run, you get one of the alleys out there, you got a pretty good shot at a triple.
Telford backs him away. The count 1-1. There you take a look at the vast expanse out there. They put a lot of cows out there to graze, couldn't you? Big cut. And Anthony Telford starting to throw the ball, probably the best that he's thrown it all year.
Well, that's good for Rochester because they're going to need him down the stretch. Here's a guy that's been one of their aces of their staff in the last couple of years. It's crunch time. It's time for him to come up big for them.
Manny Alexander behind the bag to throw out Cedeno. A ball that looked like it took a kind of a tricky hop out there, but Alexander's sticking with it.
Yeah, it looked like it hit the side of the mound, and then it hit, again, now they're in their second base, it looked like it kicked back on. That Manny Alexander, it's the first time I had a chance to take a look at him. He's extremely impressive defensively. He gets rid of that ball in a hurry with a cannon.
Now the Toronto native, Gregg O'Halloran. You know, if you're the Blue Jays, you want as many folks from Canada playing ball for you as possible. They've got Butler up there already this year.
And you know he's got to be a left-handed batter if he's from Canada. That's all they got up there. Those guys played in a lot of tournaments up there. You stack yourself with left-handed pitching, you're in good shape because they all, they think they're coming down the left wing. They're taking a slap shot. They've got a lot of left-handed hitters up there.
One Canadian that the Wings had last year was a lefty. I guess you're right. I hadn't really thought about it, but you're right.
I'm telling you, I'm not. They're unbelievable.
Yesterday it was an all-Canadian battery for Syracuse. Paul Spoljarek from one side of the country out in British Columbia. And the Ontario native, Gregg Zaun, was doing the catching. Rochester trying to send this one on to the 12th.
Oh, it's got to go 12.
Well, Duke McGuire's here. It's
just wouldn't be a day at MacArthur Stadium without going 12.
People always ask me, what is Duke's place? It's the 12th inning.
I'm telling you.
Strike 3, and we're gone to the 12th inning. So Duke McGuire here in the booth. That ensures that we get there. Anthony Telford ensuring it as well with a pitch on the outside edge taken by O'Halloran. And on to the 12th, tied at 3 on Empire Sports Network.
No mother would want to give her baby a weak heart or a damaged brain, lungs too weak to take in air, eyes that will never see, or arms and legs that he can't control. No mother would want to do this to her child. But if you don't see a doctor when you're pregnant, this is just what you could be doing. If you're pregnant, don't wait to see a doctor.
Hey, little dude, send your mama and daddy out of the room. I gotta get you up on this. You know who I am. Snake, dealing in weed, coke, crack, your choice. Take one hit and you'll do anything to cop more. Steal from your mama, lie, cheat on your homeboys. But hey, that's the price you pay when you deal with dudes like me. Now, some folks will tell you that I'm dealing in poison. But hey, do I look like the kind of guy that would do that to a kid like you? Yes!
Last commercial scared me a little bit, but here we are in the top of the 12th. None the worse for the wear, a 3-3 game, and this is where you left off, Duke McGuire. This is where we came in here.
Absolutely. It just wouldn't. These people in Syracuse are going to want me here every game. They keep that concession stands ching, 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 those cash registers moving.
And the Rochester Red Wings moving on to the 12th inning and seeing what they can do against Mark Olms, who is kind of a one-man band right now. There's only one other guy available in the bullpen for the Chiefs because Pete Blom's got a sore elbow. Daryl Ackerfeld's has a sore side. And the only other guy available to the Chiefs tonight would be the guy just up from Double-A, Dewey. Instead, Mark Olms is on there for the 3rd straight night. He pitches in to Gregg Zaun, who tags it. This one deep to right. And Gregg Zaun looking for his first AAA home run. He's got it. Gregg Zaun hits it out. And after Olms was just fantastic in the 11th, he doesn't get a chance to show us what he's got here in the 12th. Gregg Zaun, the Z-Man, rips it out to right for his first AAA home run. And we'll see if he gets a silent treatment or not back in the Red Wings dugout. It'd be a super time for that, wouldn't it?
That'd be a tough time to give him a silent treatment in the 12th inning. I'll tell you that right there.
Wow, he got all of that thing. Boy, Gregg Zaun rips it out to right field. He is a much better hitter, it is said, as a righty than a lefty, but don't tell Gregg Zaun after that.
Well, he got a high fastball right there, and he got the head of the bat out, and he just drills a long, high fly ball right about that 350 marker, and there you see it. Crunch and munch. Waving goodbye.
And there's Alexander with a drilled ball down the left side. That'll be extra bases for Manny Alexander. The ball dying out there, and Alexander rounding second, and he's going to keep on going. He tries for third. Here's the throw. Alexander, a hustling triple. Well, you talk about a hustle. Manny Alexander just never stopped.
You know what? He came around second base, and he saw Louis Soho. He just picked the ball up and kind of flipped it back in the infield, thinking that there's no way in the world that Manny Alexander would try for 3. He just kind of lobbed it to the cutoff man, and Alexander saw that, and he put his head down and dove in.
That's a pretty close relay throw right there.
Well, that's great hustle right there by Manny Alexander. He just took advantage right there of a little bit of carelessness on Louis Soho's part. And he got himself an extra 90 feet right there, and that makes the infield come in.
Well, once again, it's a triple with nobody out, and that's been bad news for the Rochester Red Wings because they couldn't get Carey in the 9th inning in this situation.
Yeah, now they got the top of the order coming up right here now, though.
Damon Buford, a good bunter. What do you think of a squeeze in this situation? Safety squeeze, maybe?
It's possible.
Alexander with his speed. Buford could actually beat one out.
Pretty good hitter, though. You probably swing the bat a little bit here. Maybe with one out, you might take a shot at it. But then again, Henzo would be hitting left-handed. It's pretty easy to pitch out on a squeeze if the guy breaks a little early from third, so you never know.
Rochester with 7 bases on 2 swings here in the 12th. I believe that was Zaun's first home run ever as a lefty professionally. 3 balls, no strikes to Damon Buford.
And there's really no way in the world that Manny Alexander should get a triple on a ball down in the corner, only 320 feet away. He just hustled himself into a triple right there, and Louis Soho got caught a little bit off guard, I think.
Infield in slightly. Strike 1 pumped in by Olms. Boy, both teams have had their chances in this ball game to win it by now. Syracuse heading into the double play in the 10th. Wings blowing that opportunity with a runner at third, nobody out in the 9th. Full count now from Olms to Buford. Buford with 1 hit tonight. 1 for 4 with a sacrifice. There is Manny Alexander, who can get Rochester some insurance now if Buford can come through.
Well, I'm just so impressed with Alexander. I mean, he just absolutely turned that double into a triple, and his defense is outstanding.
Ball 4 to Damon Buford. It's runners at the corners now for Tommy Henzo. Tommy 0 for 5 in this one, and well, he can kind of take heart with this. I mean, even a double play gets the Wings the insurance run.
Well, yeah, and I don't think Syracuse can afford to play for a double play right here. They're going to have to pull the infield in and try and cut off the run at the plate. They just can't afford to give another run.
Remember, you've got Buford, one of the best base runners in the league, at first base. Gregg Zaun, who's thrown out only 22% of base stealers this year. He's the catcher.
Yeah, he's going.
Buford is going. This one chopped foul.
Oh, I don't believe Tommy Henzo swung at that pitch. I can't believe he just didn't let him take second base. He could have hit a line drive right there, and it's a double play. I mean, Buford had a 25-foot lead, and he was going. Martinez isn't even holding him on.
Yeah, Buford was all the way past the second baseman Cedeno by the time Henzo was swinging.
I mean, you could put the ball on a tee. I mean, you could still hit a line drive right at somebody. You just got to let him take second base.
Henzo bangs it to center field, and Buford's going to have to come back, but Alexander will be able to come in and score. He tags up right now and makes it a 5-3 game. So Buford never did get to go on and steal second, though he certainly might try it now with 1 out.
I still don't. I'm shocked. I really am. I can't believe he swung the bat. I mean, they were giving him second base.
Go ahead and make it second and third with nobody out.
Well, sure. Now, that fly ball right there scores the run anyway, and if the ball's that deep, the way Buford runs, he could tag up and get himself to third base. He swings at a pitch like he could hit a line driving, he could hit line into a double play. But it worked out for the better for Tommy Henzo. He picked up a sacrifice fly and an RBI, but wow, it's risky.
Randy Reddy is a hitter for Rochester. The Wings now up on the Chiefs by 2. Holmes deals a strike on in there. Don Schultze is up in the Rochester bullpen again. He has emerged as the Red Wings closer over the last few weeks. Don't count the Chiefs out, though. They got the kind of scrappy ball club right now that can come back on you. Reddy is down in the count 0-2.
Now Schultze, another player that played in Japan last season.
There he is, the Rock. Don Schultze, former first-round pick of the Chicago Cubs.
Been around a little bit, played in Buffalo for a while, Mets organization for a while. As we mentioned, Japan last year.
See if Buford gets going on 0-2. There's 1 out in the inning. Rochester up by a couple. Pitch out, but nothing on. The hits are even in this game, 9 aside. Rochester started out the 12th with Gregg Zaun tagging a home run to right. Then they triple by Manny Alexander, a walk, and then a sac fly. Once again, Olms has got to be concerned with Damon Buford. He was caught stealing tonight. It's only the second time all year that's happened. And take a look at the move over there. Buford's got to hustle back in. This one getting behind O'Halloran, and that'll get Buford onto second base. No contest. Wild pitch by Olms. Second wild pitch of the game tonight. And a base hit by Reddy makes it 6-3 possibly, as Buford's got that great speed.
Just looking up Don Schulte's record here. Played last 3 seasons in Japan. Before that, he was in San Diego, New York, Columbus, Toledo, Tidewater, Buffalo, Maine, Cleveland. I'd say he's been around a little bit.
Better hope for a foul ball here so he can keep you going. But instead, a chopper to shortstop. And the throw across in time for the second out of the inning. This will leave it up to Mark Leonard to try to get Buford around. There is Damon Buford. 5-3 ball game. Rochester rallying to get it done a couple of times tonight. But again, Syracuse will be coming up with 9-1-2 in the order in the bottom of the 12th. That'll be Scott, Soho, and Zosky. And if anybody gets on, you got the power part of the order up after that. Foul ball by Leonard to make it 0-1.
Well, that's a big run out there for the Red Wings. Pick this guy up right here, and then, you know, if it's 5-3, all Syracuse has to do is get one guy on to get the tying run to the plate. 6-3, you got to have a big inning.
Another opportunity for Zosky. He's very steady out there, and well, Holmes does pitch his way out of a tough spot. The Wings settle for 2 runs in. It could have been worse. And going to the bottom of the 12th, Don Schultze will march on from the bullpen and try to save it for the Wings. They lead 5-3.
We're gonna cheer, cheer, cheer for the Chiefs. We're gonna swing for the seats, 'cause they play real pretty in the old South City. We're gonna rock them down to the cleats. We're gonna cheer for the Chiefs.
Hey, hey, summer in Syracuse means Chiefs baseball. Great family fun at affordable price for the whole family. Come on out to Big Mac and
cheer for the Chiefs.
Major League excitement.
5 nights a week.
On ESPN.
Don Schultze comes on for the Rochester Red Wings, trying to nail it down here at Big Mac, and there is a big rock. Don Schultze, 8-3, some of that in relief, some of that as a starter from earlier this year. There you see he's only walked 18 batters this year in those 85 innings. He has hit 7 batters. He's almost hit as many batters as he's walked. And Don Schultze, a guy that is not shy about coming inside and using that inside part of the plate. If you're crowding the plate, he'll back you right out of there.
Well, as you can see, he's got awful good control. 18 walks in all those innings to hit 7 guys. So if you're up on the plate, you're not going to be there too long.
Josh Lewin, Duke McGuire with you. Duke, happy to report that you're not missing anything back with the Buffalo Bisons tonight. You blew off the Bisons game to be here in Syracuse, and son of a gun, they're tied in the 12th inning.
Well, that's unbelievable down there. Indianapolis scored once in the 8th to tie it up, and it took the lead at the top of the 10th. Buffalo comes back with 1 in the bottom of the 10th, and it's 4-4 at the end of 12, we're told. Will Pennyfeather with a home run for Buffalo in the 7th, his 10th of the year.
We have great rivalries brewing at both ends of the Thruway. That Buffalo-Indianapolis rivalry is outstanding, and this Wings-Chiefs rivalry has been fantastic for years. Here is Sean Scott, 2 for 4 in this one tonight. Schultze hums one in there for the strike.
Nothing Mark Bombard would like better than to pick up a win in Buffalo. Manager of the year in the league last year for Buffalo, and gets fired. Hooks on with Indianapolis this season.
There is Sean Scott being moved off the plate. Schultze trying to save it for Anthony Tilford. He pitched just 1 inning. Got down the Chiefs in order and now can pick up the victory tonight.
Oh,
that is some smoke from Don Schultze.
Wow.
First time that Scott has had to face this guy this year.
He's going to have to start a little quicker because that ball was in the glove.
Top of the order on deck for the Chiefs. You'd love to see Scott get on here and give Soho a chance to bring that home run bat up there again, or Zosky, or even Perez. That is, if you don't mind being here till 1 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm sure our crew wouldn't mind that. Nothing else to do.
Well, the crew can perhaps take some solace as Sean Scott strikes out. Come on, crew. It's a great game. We want to be here until, let's say, Monday. Wednesday, even.
It's a beautiful night for baseball.
Well, it really is, and it has been a very entertaining game. It's been pretty lucky. Empire coming out here to Syracuse, and the couple games have gone into the 12th. They've been nip and tuck.
Can't ask for more than that. If you're a baseball fan, you don't run out to the refrigerator, I'll tell you that.
Soho eyeballing strike one, and Soho with the home run yesterday, a double and triple tonight. He's trying to get on base here and give Zosky or Perez a chance to tie it. Rochester trailed this one 2-0 until the 7th when Mark Leonard hit a 2-run home run. Teams went on to the 12th inning tied at 3 when Gregg Zaun hit a home run to put Rochester in front. Line shot to Carey. That's just the way it's been going for the Chiefs all year. Soho with a hard shot that looked like it might have gotten into the corner, but there was Carey playing it perfectly, and Schultz is an out away from bringing the win home to Rochester.
Well, Soho going with that pitch, but Paul Carey had himself stationed perfectly over there at first base. If he didn't catch it, would have, hit him right in the chest, so he figured he better put the glove up.
Zosky bidding for his first base hit tonight. He twisted foul instead, and if the Wings hang on, it's a big win for them, not only because they stay 4 games in front of Ottawa, but it's got to be a real booster shot of confidence for these guys. This was a game they easily could have lost.
There's a young player out there, got the ball all teed up. He's going to drive it into the screen. I mean, doesn't he realize this is the 12th inning right here? 1 out away from a victory. He's out there getting his hacks in.
And a hack back to the net here. It's 0-2. Everybody's been having fun out here tonight, and that's what it's all about. We've been privileged to bring it to you. Appreciate you taking the time to join us tonight, everybody. International League Baseball here in Central New York. Alexander one more time to end the ball game. Don Schultze sets him down in order, and Rochester with a come from behind 5-3 win. And in Duke McGuire's honor, it takes 12 innings to get it done tonight. Totals and highlights in a bit. The Rochester Red Wings have prevailed tonight, 5-3 the final.
They say party's cool. They say it's a great high. They say everybody does it. They say they're your friends. They're pulling your strings.
Onondaga County's 911 emergency telephone service is now up and running. This means that if you live in Onondaga County, you can get immediate help from police, an ambulance, or the fire department by dialing 911 from either a rotary or push-button phone. 911 saves lives. So remember, in Onondaga County, in an emergency, dial 911. It could mean the difference between life and death.
12 innings, 3 hours, 27 minutes, but this one finally reaches a climax. Rochester 5-3 over Syracuse tonight, and a ball game that really could have been won by either side a lot earlier than 3 hours and 27 minutes along.
That was a well-played ball game. As you can see, no errors for either ball club, and right there you see the tying run.
That's Mark Smith coming in after Paul Carey hit triple. The Wings had a chance to win it, but could not get Carey in from third. Gregg Zaun did win it as he yanks his home run out to right, leading off the 12th. It's Zaun's first AAA home run, and we believe his first home run as a professional as a left-hand batter. What a time to get it. He gives Rochester a 4-3 lead with that one. They will go on to take it tonight by the final of 5-3 here in Syracuse. Good one tonight, Duke.
Super ball game right there. You can see he just got his arms out extended. The pitch was out over the middle half of the plate, and he lost that baby.
Patrick Trinkley, our producer-director tonight, doing a stunning job as usual, thanks to Rich Bradley and the entire crew at Empire Sports Network. For Duke McGuire, Josh Lewin, thanks for being with us, everybody. So long from Syracuse.
Is life uneventful? Are you bored, stiff? Do you feel like you're living in the 17th century? Check out Weekender on Cable 13. Host Lorraine Rath gives some great tips on things to do and see around Central New York. So don't be bored on the weekends. Check out Weekender every Monday at 7 p.m. and Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. only on Cable 13.
You know, not too many years ago, when you walked through the neighborhood, you could tell who was heating with wood because you could see smoke coming out of the chimney. That's not true anymore. Things have certainly changed a lot since I started heating with wood. Like most people, I started with a fireplace. It was great in the evening for atmosphere, but overnight the fire would burn down and all the heat from inside the house would go up the chimney. Even when they're burning, a fireplace only puts 10 to 15% of the heat into your home. Then in the 1970s and 80s, I used a wood-burning stove. Like most of those old stoves, it was very inefficient, and the smoke it emitted caused environmental problems. With guidelines